Remix. 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 Remix.
Well. What do we have here? What it do, niggas? I don't know where the other niggas is at. It's fine. You know, I've never been stood up in my life, so this is crazy. Cause why y'all not here? That's just wild. Leave me by myself. Well, the dog is here, but leave me by myself is so crazy. But hi guys. It's Friday, one of my favorite days. So there's that. I know I didn't look at a run sheet because I'm never doing that. So maybe I should. I should be more responsible and check the run sheet thingy. But I mean, the only news that we talk about anyways is Iran and all the bombs dropping. And this my first war for real. So, you know, I'm like the niggas on TikTok trying to figure out what the fuck we gonna do. Do I pay my rent? Or like do we skip that? Do we pay all the utilities and stuff? Do we pause? Like, what's the risk of a bomb dropping where I'm at? Before I pay all these bills, what's the probability? I just feel like we're not asking that enough. That's all. Yeah, Chitty Masha said it's the Amber Show. I know that's right. Y'all think I should call them? Let me call them and see where they are. Since they didn't show up.
Right here.
I'm gonna take you off the screen just because you stood me up.
Technical difficulties. How you doing, Amber? Morning.
I'm fine. I'm talking about the war.
Oh, we started off heavy. Okay.
Oh, I just said this is my first war, so I don't know what happens. You know, do we pay all of our bills? Like, do I only pay like essential things? If I don't pay my rent, you know what that's gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I need to pay for utilities now, or are utilities gonna get bombed and then I work and I didn't pay for nothing?
You know what's funny? Youth After Circle came up and was like, next time we got to talk about Iran. First World War, kind of nervous. And I was like, man, he was like 12. So first off, the kids are all right. That's what I'm saying. We got a lot of youth hate. The kids know how to meme. They're funny. And after
But
I
they
finished
on TikTok
laughing,
saying, "Hey, this my first war. I'm not gonna hold you." I said, "You
that's
know
what
what?
I was like, that's what I
Samesies,
said.
samesies, friend. This my first war too, girl. I don't
So
know
I
what to
said, I'm like, I don't
do."
know how old you think I am, but shit, mine too. My first
What
World
y'all think
War.
I'm doing?
But obviously, we're gonna have a conversation about U.S. imperialism and that we're in perma war all the time. So
I
um,
just don't feel it like that.
it's
Thank
it's
you.
wild
Someone said
times.
Amber's funny. I
Oh,
appreciate
we
that.
know, we know, we know.
I
Thank you for holding it down and taking us live.
You're welcome. I should have just sat here and did nothing so they would have thought the show wasn't gonna come out. But I wouldn't do y'all like that
Nah, we would at least have a rerun.
or something.
Oh my God, this meme, I'm sorry, this meme kills me. If you've never seen the
What meme
video.
is it?
It's a video where it's a
And son
young
said, "Yes, Amber, you still have to pay bitch ass bills."
it's a video where this kid comes up and he's like saying something kids to get excited about, like, Mom, do you know that the reason the sky is blue is because do do do? And then she's like, why would I care? I'm still gonna have to live on Earth and pay these bills. And
That's
it
funny.
was funny. It was funny.
I always find like the most random like vocal stem soundbite stuff that's gone viral on TikTok. Some girl was posting something like it was a video of her eating, and she was like, she had her daughter doing the little heads up game, you know, where they put like words. She
Yeah.
said, "What I say when somebody asks me where your daddy at?" And she said, "Oh, can I cuss?" And the lady was like, "Yes." She said, "Pap upstairs, ho." What?
What?
So then I went down a rabbit hole. And apparently it's a video of Clarissa Shields and somebody, she's on live and she said someone in the comments asked her, "Is Pap over there?" She said, "Yeah, Pap upstairs, ho," and was like eating some food.
Oh
And I was
man.
like, "What?" And then everybody in the comments is saying nobody asked her that in that live stream. So it's even funnier because honestly, I could see no one asking her that. She just wants y'all to know that man is there. And just like Clarissa, he love his papoose. I get it, girl. I get it. So hey. Because one thing about
So
it, she finna wear that song out. I said
yeah.
about 50,000 streams finna come just from her.
What's the last song you had that was like that? Where you just, it's all the streams are you.
Breaking Point by Leon Thomas.
Wow. Um, Mine was
I
that
listen to that
song.
song so much. It's been my top song for the last 3 years.
Damn. Okay, so you that one top 1.1% on Spotify on that song.
I'm the 0.1% in top listeners.
How about you, Geechee? You got a song that you're the one who's probably listened to that song more than anybody.
Mm,
Some shit from South Carolina.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Probably, yeah, I don't really know. I don't have a song. Because I guess I've been listening to music. I listen to music a lot, and so I can't think of one song right now.
That
Y'all
you
want to hear
listen to a
mine?
lot?
For sure.
Yes.
I'm gonna play it. Peace and good morning to the infamous chat as well. Y'all seen this? Uh, Way too much. I got way too much 5 times speed, so y'all know that's unfortunately my default on here. So
That's insane.
it is.
Treat it like a snack, so I have to carry. It's Milwaukee. Shit.
You never seen this? Y'all didn't see this
Hey, yo,
trend?
what we on? Oh, shit.
Let's see where it's gonna go.
Fuck. Oh, shit. Wait, there it is.
Oh, wait, there it is. I do know this song.
There it is. No. Yeah. It ain't there yet, cuz. Hold on, wait. It ain't there yet, cuz. How about this? Big flame. Go ahead, baby, put some player in it. Yeah. Treat it like a snack, so I have
Oh
to pair it.
man.
You know they trolling, they put some hate.
All the dances. Man, shout out Milwaukee. Shout out Black Men Build Milwaukee. Oh my goodness.
Milwaukee niggas do be having good music. Like JP, who from Milwaukee too.
Yep. I love his shit.
And they all
His
have that little bop music. Like the beats are always like that bop style.
Yeah. I know I'm in the top 0.1% on this one, no question.
That's a
Every
little
morning like the past year. Oh man. I gotta start it. We got compliments on our hair day from our Iranian
oh,
comrade, it
thanks,
seems like.
Esron.
Thank you
I'm
very
glad your
much.
family is safe in Iran. I saw that you said that earlier they were safe so far.
Yeah. Do y'all have any idea what oh, that's not for us. It's for someone else in the chat.
Oh, okay.
Oh man. Okay. So we got some stories to get into. Y'all want to hop into it? Because this run sheet is full. I know we've
Is
been
there a
doing longer
check-in
check-ins.
question?
I think we kind of got started with it, but Josh laced us with, this is pretty important. How do you cope with a stressful situation before, during, and after? That's
I ignore
always a
it.
great
Act like
question.
there's nothing happening.
Ignore the problem.
I disassociate heavily.
Mm.
It's a fun
Uh,
time.
We talk about these kinds of things a lot. I think the before is interesting, during and after, because I think you might have healthy aspects in some parts and then some unhealthy ones. Like I don't think my before, during, and after are always equally as healthy. Yeah. So, um, but I mean, I've had a stressful week. Partners had a stressful week. Talked about grounding. Um, Y'all know I'm not religious anymore, but I did like a scripture back in the day. And
I didn't know
so
you weren't religious anymore.
Well, since I was a kid, yeah. We talked about this a little bit, but I do like
I don't
the
remember you saying
idea of.
I'm not religious anymore. I remember you talking about being religious growing up. I never remember you saying, and I'm not religious anymore.
Ah,
So, I ain't out. But,
I got you. Well, I'm gonna send you some things. Me and Jared got a little show going
oh,
about
Lord. Okay.
atheism. We only 3 episodes in. It's pretty good. I like it. It's more interviews and stuff like that too. You'll enjoy it. But I do like the idea of scripture and grounding yourself in something. So the scriptures that used to work for me did not work as much, but things like Asada's chant work. Um, M- Mary Hooks has a chant. The mandate for Black people at this time is to avenge the suffering of our ancestors, to earn the respect of future generations, and to be transformed in the service of the work. And so those kinds of things have been helping me recently.
Okay.
Obviously, you hear me quote political prisoners all the time, so they got a bunch like that too. But that's how I get through some stress. Um, yeah, and memes at night. That'll do it too. You gotta laugh at the end of the day. I see Geechee sends me stuff sometimes too. Amber, we got to get in the algorithm together. Instagram figured out the hive mind now, where you can see everybody's likes, and then you can just go through
It
it that way.
does?
Yeah, it's copying TikTok. We know this, but
TikTok does that?
yeah,
Child, I'll just be doing shit. I don't know.
you know what? Yeah, I'm like Amber on TikTok more than me, but yes, they have
I
it
just
now.
be on there scrolling a little bit, posting a video, and getting off. I actually don't know none of the intricacies. And I don't be paying attention to what other people are doing on social media because I don't care. So I just never pay
Mhm.
attention. But now that I know that, it's not gonna change my behavior, but I will be cognizant of the fact that you can see that.
Oh
Like,
yeah, well, so we the young show, so I'm gonna help some elders out. Y'all's likes on Instagram are public now. Y'all's likes are public now. They will show up in my algorithm. If I see a video and I'm like, this is some questionable shit, I'm gonna look at the face with the heart by it in the corner, and I can see who that
oh,
is.
that's what that is. Oh, it comes up sometimes, but it doesn't come up all the time. Like I see it sometimes, but not on like everything. So
Oh
I
yeah.
was paying attention. I ain't know for real. I know it shows you when someone reposts something on IG, and I think that that's annoying because sometimes it's words on the screen. I'm trying to read it, and they got these little bubbles and shit floating. I'm like, move out the fucking way. I can't see. So it actually annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, it is. It is. I actually do have to. I just learned this year the pinch, and then all the stuff goes away on the. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that
stresses
was
me. It was
mind
stressing
blowing
me
for me.
out.
Mm.
Yeah. And then Instagram, unfortunately, I have the settings on where it's friends where I could just see positive content. Get you once upon a time. There's a video of this chef. He plays like old school soul R&B music, and he's outside in New York, and he make like steak and lobster with man. That shit's therapy, bro. So I appreciate it. I got that one for you. Uh, Shout out. I think his name's Chef Nick. All right. Well, I mean, we already on the Instagram topic. I had a sketch for us to get started on a little bit about comedy, if y'all are ready to go, because I've been seeing a lot of shows lately, a lot of specials. I went to Godfrey's show. I've been talking about that for the whole
So,
past year because dude might work for the state.
yeah,
Anyway.
I wasn't. I didn't answer, but I also had two questions before I answer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Before we move on.
Yeah, that's all good. Um, so, Amber, if you can quickly share, like, so I hear the disassociated with, and like, people argue like, well, you could leave a situation, but if it's something legit that's stressing you out, like something that's concrete, because stress change. When you disassociate, you're still gonna come back to the same thing, or it's still gonna have to be there. So I'm curious. I'm curious what you think about that. And then, Lord, you said something about healthy. You have health, not healthy response, and I wonder if you're talking about for you or for the environment or for other people when you say not healthy. But look, those two questions I have for both of y'all before I even answer mine.
Can you explain what are you
Yeah.
trying to answer?
So I don't know if you was joking or if you just like quickly answer. You was like answering the question that Loric is answering. You was like, I just disassociate. Boom. But my question is, like there are concrete things that happen that gives you stress, and but stress could be like there could be non-concrete things that give you stress, but for the concrete things that give you stress, when you disassociate, it's not going to remove the concrete thing. So I wonder if you,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
not the purpose of it.
yeah,
I just don't want to think about it. I think that, as long as you're in a safe environment, disassociating can always be an option. And as long as it's not out of control, like my stuff is controlled. Like I know when I'm disassociating, I know how to stop it. I'm choosing to do it on purpose, and I'm not in danger or anything. I'm in my house sitting on the couch, so I don't be carrying out. When I was in college, I used to do that when I was driving home from college to home. That was dangerous, and I had to stop doing that shit. But I didn't realize I was doing it. So now that I like am fully aware when I'm doing it, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that yeah, the problem gonna still exist, but not right now. It's not. It ain't bothering me in the moment. And then eventually I'll have to do something about it, and I'll probably sit down and write out a plan, or I might talk to my therapist about it if I really am like really really stressed about it. But usually I'll just disassociate for a second just to get my mind off of it and go focus on something else, and then I'll come back to it, which I think is fine. Sometimes like the level of stress is just a little too much, and I'm constantly trying to keep my cortisol levels low. Like especially as a black woman, I had really really high cortisol levels a few years ago, and so my doctor has been like pushing me to keep them low. Which really the only top thing that lowers them is actually yoga, which is why I do yoga, and like de-stressing, which is like something that I naturally cannot de-stress from. Like I live every day as a black woman, and I can't de-stress from that, even when I've tried. So I'm always gonna like use disassociation if I need to like calm myself down, because I really don't ever want to get high blood pressure that runs in my family. And the high cortisol levels really give me like it was giving me like insulin resistance symptoms a few years ago. So I really try to keep them as low as possible, and they're manageable right now. And disassociating is a part of that, like just to get my mind off of it and just release it for a second. But I don't suggest other people do that. I think that if you can manage it like I can, you should do it. But if you don't think you can do that, I do not suggest doing what I be doing, because I be doing any fucking thing, for real, for real. So don't do what I be doing.
yeah.
Yeah, I know your question for me is pretty interesting. I would say, like Amber, I'm defining health as related to myself and um habits that make me, you know, right mentally and physically. So I think a lot of that is somewhat straightforward. It's just hard to remember to do it. When Amber said it, like yoga, I'm like, yeah, stretching. It's all the things that I think we're supposed to do on a daily basis, but are hard to do either because we don't have the time because capitalism's driving us crazy, or we don't have the resources because capitalism's driving us crazy. So I think about that a lot. Political prisoners also give lots of guides on mindfulness, on stretching, on things that I've been able to read. And most often, when they're in the worst shape, it's because of something being denied from them, right? Like medically, human contact. We all need contact with other people, these kinds of things. So when I'm unhealthy, I'm like, what of this checklist of things have I denied myself from or has been denied from me lately? And I kind of move from there.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. I think it. So sometimes you say something really fast and you're intended it one way, but like depending on the context, somebody might take it like even um Leg Boss was saying that like their understanding of disassociation was different than um what they thought it was different than what you were sharing. But I'm more so thinking of like, especially in this political space where like nigga every day gonna be stressed. Like, you know what I mean? Like the homeless brother up the road, he got hit by a car yesterday. Little kid who be waving to me every day, they got kicked out the fucking house, shit all on the yard. And so like, yeah. So sometimes like I think people hearing that they would be like, well, I can't disassociate. Like that's a
Yeah.
flex. You know what I mean? Like
I also think that when you say stuff like every day is gonna be stressful, I think about like how my like years ago, my therapist used to make me like evaluate like feelings and emotions, like how people be like, I'm just depressed. But really, you're just upset or sad about something, which is very different from depression. And I do think it's helpful to like separate them. Like, yeah, something stressed me out a little bit, but it didn't take me down under there. Like I'm not in my bottom, my wits end. Like I'm not like down like that. So I think sometimes when you tell people that you're stressed, they think it's an extreme because they don't know the differentials of emotions. Like I'm packing my house right now and it's stressful because I'm just realizing how much stuff I have, but it's not like the worst thing I've ever dealt with. I'm not like sinking into a deep depression or anything, but it's just like a feeling of like frustration. It's not even sadness. It's mostly frustration with myself for having all this shit and have knowing I have to throw it away. And knowing that I'm also not willing to let people help me in the way that some people would because I don't want them in my house. And my mom was like, you should let a man come over there. I said, I'm not giving no motherfucker my address. But she just like, she's not thinking of it that way. She's thinking of it like, just get help. But I was like, that means I have to let people into my space that I really like to keep private. And so I'm not willing to do that. So I'm willing to be frustrated. So I do think it's like levels to it. But sometimes you can disassociate unconsciously. I know for sure when I'm disassociating because the world I be in is totally different. Yeah. I'm imagining myself in a totally, I literally will be like, I know this shit ain't real. Like I'll be imagining some shit happening. I know that shit ain't real. So there's no way I can like know that this is not like, this is a real thing because I'm like, oh, I know what my life is really like. This is definitely not it. But it did take me time to do that. So I appreciate that it's a flex part. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this took me like, this is like 6-7 years of me doing that. Cause I definitely did not know I was doing it when I was driving. I just would like be an hour in and be like, damn, I'm like 10 minutes from my house and just not realize it because it was such a routine thing. And then I had to like, okay, I gotta stop doing that shit. So then I stopped doing it. But it took me a lot of work to stop doing it because I was kind of doing it unconsciously. And I had to like push myself to like be paying more attention. But that's also how my doctor found out I had ADHD because a lot of people with ADHD can disassociate very easily with doing mundane tasks. And so I just would forget that I'm going somewhere because I'm just so used to doing it over and over again.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I'm still trying to develop in that area. Because well, actually, let me back up. So, kind of to your point, the last 2 years, I think I've learned to like observe myself when I'm in actual movies and disassociate myself with the outcomes of the movies. Said better, if I'm in a room with a bunch of unprincipled people trying to be principled and trying to argue against illogical shit, like sometimes I guess the warrior in me want to fight back, but really like nigga. So you know what I mean. So like I'm learning.
It serious. You be like, yeah, I just need to.
And then I think when Lord talked about being grounded, then you have to ask like, what are the stimulants that ground you? Is it family? Is it the actual people in the community? Is it your history of who you connected to and all that? So yeah, like I mean, again, I know we're building up a connection, but like if I'm hitting this nigga up, text, call, or whatever, or Jared or Renee or Diallo or Andrea or whoever, my mother, my grandmother, like that kind of helped ground me. So I think between that and music is what I'm yeah.
I thought somebody said something in the chat that I was gonna. Oh, go ahead, Lord.
No, I was just gonna say I appreciate how y'all are separating this because when I heard the question, I immediately thought of like things in our personal lives, which does often get merged with the organizing world. But get you just describe why I am, you know, in love with BNB's publication name because everything I see around me is wartime. This is what it looks like to me. So I think I was taking that question more into like my day-to-day life and what I can control. But in the just being outside, yeah, exactly what you described. It's hell out here. I go to work and our people who are overrepresented in the homeless population, they know not to go bother those white people, but they come up to me, hey, can I have some food? Hey man, how you doing? That kind of stuff. And that's just a part of our lives, I think, as Black people who are conscious, that I'm just like, that's not even in my consideration for like why my day is stressful, even though it's happening all the time, even though campus security is harassing them in front of me, and I have to step in and that kind of thing, which just happened. So yeah, throughout this week in the community, I think dealing with quite a few stressful things similar to what you described about the boy. And yeah, it's rough. So
Yeah, you got like a one of my and I'm going to see them today, but she I don't know how Miss Ann is, probably 70. She like, Geechee, I need you to come by the house. Um these folks just gave me a paper that's a date mark on Thursday. I received it on Saturday, and they said you got to be doing something by Monday, or else you about to be out of your house. And I'm like, what? I got to go get. I got to see who else in the building got that same letter, and then knew all this other stuff. And so it's like somebody about to somebody grandmother about to be put the fuck out off of some other shit. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. But yeah, that's it.
can I share a quote that grounds me real quick? And yeah, be happy to
The
jump to
scripture?
whatever y'all are interested in. Well, my version of scripture, which I've said, is stuff like this. Oh man, Amazon's on here. Um, James Baldwin, atheist unk in our movement. I found that out later, or not spirit. He's spiritual, whatever you want to call him. But he says you must understand that your pain is trivial, except insofar as you can use it to connect with other people's pain. And insofar as you can do that with your pain, you can be released from it. And then hopefully it works the other way around too. Insofar as I can tell you what it is to suffer, perhaps I can help you to suffer less. Ironically, The Cross of Redemption, Uncollected Writings by James Baldwin. So when I found that quote, was one of my favorites. It's one that grounds me in this work. So thanks for letting me share that.
No, I like it.
Yeah.
I know somebody asked in the chat why she got to see who else got the letter. You want to answer that, Geechee? Oh, I was just gonna say to see how many other people are impacted, because Geechee's doing work with like the tenants. The baby don't know. Geechee, goddamn. Maybe this could also be me. Maybe I'm more sympathetic to the children because a baby didn't call me at 5 a.m. this morning because he took his first flight. And he was on FaceTime with me trying to find the desk for the airport. And I had to think, damn, I ain't never had to explain this to nobody. And it's 5 a.m. I said, shit, how do I be getting to the desk myself? Hell. So I've become more sympathetic to the kids just not knowing.
Yeah, depends on, like, so I hear that, right? Like, so I think sometimes when we do that, we like put it in like a quick vacuum of like sympathetic or not, but like there's gonna be a time when the stress or the levels is coming, and then you're gonna respond with less sympathetic. So sympathy is not like a continuum, like, so that's
Okay.
Sometimes like I am more sympathetic and responsive or whatever, but then sometimes like I'm a human too, so if I'm seeing something. And again, it could be also context. I don't even know who that is. I don't know if it's young, old, green, blue, black, whatever. Long, I don't know. I just read it.
Like based off of how they were typing, they might be younger, but
that might be.
I think because I'm in my like mental organizer phase, I've been like more nicer. I'm probably gonna stop doing this shit soon, though. Don't worry. It'll last like a few weeks.
Before we move on, see this comment highlighted. I did want to point out that, Amber, you mentioned seeing a professional, studying this your whole life, being involved with psych professionals, but I do hear this critique. So I'm not saying it should be directed at you here. I think the diagnostic language of psych has entered into broader social consciousness in a way that can be unhelpful. Some should be mild, but because we're using professionalized language, it builds. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. But then
I
again,
agree with that. I think that social media has really ruined like people seeking professional help, and instead like watching videos of therapists and saying, "Oh, this is what's wrong," or "This is this thing." Like I think that people just, especially younger folks like in the generation right below me, just don't recognize that like sadness is normal. That's a normal emotion. Anxiety is normal. Fear is normal. Like all of these are regular emotions. It does not mean you have a disorder. But if you aren't able to balance those emotions, then it can feel like you have a disorder even when you don't. And then you have to go back and say, like, see someone to kind of balance those things out. And then if it doesn't go away, you might have something going on. But I do think that we have really entered this age where people just think that you're supposed to be happy all the time. Like, this is your normal is supposed to be happiness, and like when you're not, like, that's just not. And I don't fuck with Michelle Obama, but she did say some shit a while ago that I actually did agree with. She was talking about how she really wanted her daughter to be prepared for life being boring, like life just being as it is. And I think that in millennials, especially like my age, we kind of grew up expecting things to be happening all the time, but that's not normal life. Normal life is I wake up every day at this time, I go to work, I cook some dinner, I go to sleep, I walk my dog. Like, for the most part, people do the same thing every single day, and it is boring. And then being bored, you'll feel like something is wrong. And sometimes you get sad because it's boring. And I
Mhm.
feel like we then convert those things to disorders or issues when realistically we just don't realize that life is boring. Like, it's simple. It's not as crazy as
Oh,
it
life
it
under
is.
yeah, life under this system is
Yeah, you know what I'm
absolutely
saying. Like, it's just I just think that it is not as,
yeah.
and we're
Well,
just
and
so not used to boredom
right.
because we also are used to all these traumatic events happening. And then
Yeah.
when you have a lot of traumatic events happen and then nothing's happening, then it's like, ooh, what's going on? Like, something's wrong. So I think there's multiple things that happen there. And I definitely feel like if you can find somebody who you feel like is a professional that knows what they're doing, they can really help with it. I also learned some of this stuff in elementary school. Like, in like going into fifth grade, they made us learn more about like emotions and stuff like that because people was like bullying folks and shit. And that's when I really learned that there were different words for things versus like I'm always angry, or I'm always sad, but there's all these other things too. And I feel like
Right.
people are not learning that now. Like, I feel like the youth that I like mentor and talk to, they're not learning that shit. Every time something happens, it's to the extreme. It's, well, we gotta go do this, we gotta go do that, we gotta organize this. I'm like, no, let's chill out, because they
Mm.
always are used to everything going straight to the top, to the max, to the extreme. We're not thinking about, okay, how does this make me feel? I'm upset about this. Is this something I should be creating an entire campaign around in this very moment?
Mm.
No, no, it's not. Some things are just going to upset you or make you sad or frustrate you, but it does not mean you're organizing a large campaign around it in real time. Like, that's just not realistic. And I had to learn that. And I only learned that in the last like 5, 6 years for real. Like, this is very recent for me. And I think it feels like I have it together because people who on here who are watching are meeting me in a period where I've like been able to balance those things out. But this is a very, very recent thing for me. And I've been seeing the same. I mean, I'm gonna say the same bitch. My bad. I've been seeing the same lady for 13 years. So imagine how she feel, because this is real recent. So I just wanted to say that part because I do agree with what they said actually.
Yeah. Thank you. And I thank you for tying it to the organizing. I absolutely agree. I think there is a lot of reactive kind of drives to organize sometimes based on injustice, and sometimes that's deeply personal, but still I appreciate grounding it. That's when we talked about grounding and like what is our capacity, what does our org exist to do, right?
Yeah.
If we have a environmental justice org, we might not randomly be able to take on like a transportation campaign, right? These are vehicles are designed for certain things. So yeah, very
Emotional
much appreciate
regulation
that.
is honestly the most important part of organizing. I think that people also don't realize that being able
Mm,
to emotionally regulate is the biggest part of organizing, because if you cannot emotionally regulate yourself, you cannot organize and regulate other people, and you will be in jail
yes.
or
And then
dead
or ineffective.
yeah,
or ineffective. Yeah.
Like,
I watch
so
a
so
lot of
here,
niggas who be going from 0 to 100, and they in federal prison right now.
yeah.
And I
And I
said, do
gotta
you really need to do that?
shout out. I was gonna say to that point, and then the ones who are inside are the ones who have these skills mastered as well. And I'm trying to find this. If
Mm.
anyone knows, there's a Mumia playlist. We talked about it last year during Black August, where he talks about meditation. I don't know if anyone has that. If y'all have that, please send it to me. Chat, please come
You
through.
got it.
I don't know where it was. I don't know if it was on YouTube, but he leads a meditation series, and it's his voice, which you've heard. It sounds like it's built for radio. It's very soothing. And then shout out Tume coming through with modern therapy does not account for the capitalist totality, so their analysis of the mundane is also incomplete. Yeah, that's a better way of saying what I said. Appreciate it.
Also, Keontae said, Amber kills me with that ringtone. I just want to say, that's my shit. I ain't gonna hold you. That song is like, it's my favorite song for like probably 10 years now since that came out. I'm never changing that ringtone. I don't know.
We back to the check in. Yeah, what's our favorite? I remember my first ringtone. I remember LimeWire. Good days, good times, good times.
Yeah,
Hating
I'm pretty
myself.
sure I put a virus on our computer 2 times from using LimeWire, but I had learned to hack a little bit, so I was like hacking the computer back to take it back to before it got hacked, and I had to do that several times. My mama said, "No more."
Yeah, the system restore. Yeah, after you downloaded some fuck shit. After Bill
Yeah.
Clinton talks about Monica Lewinsky on your random TI download. That was a time.
She
I was
told me
like,
no more
who is
computer
Bill
for you.
Clinton and why is he? I knew who he was. But I'm like, why is Bill Clinton on this?
On the
And
screen.
then, great times. All right, y'all ready to get in to some stories, to some news?
Yeah.
All right, we haven't played this in a while. Let's get it. All right, welcome to Friday Remix Morning Show. We got Amber, Geechee, and Lorik here.
Yep.
Some stories for us to cover. One of which, thanks Josh for lacing us with a run sheet, I thought was pretty interesting. Luke Kornitz, NBA player, says Atlanta Hawks theme night with strip club Magic City objectifies women. San Antonio Spurs center Luke Kornet has called on the Atlanta Hawks to abandon their collaboration with the famous strip club. Magic City is an Atlanta institution, has been mentioned in a string of hip-hop records, and has hosted rappers such as Drake, Yachty, Migos, Jack Harlow, LOL, and Future. It is also popular with athletes. Past visitors included Michael Jordan, and MLS's Atlanta United celebrated their title at the club in 2018. Magic City gained widespread attention in 2020 when the LA Clippers' Lou Will visited the club after leaving the MNBA's quarantine bubble during the COVID-19 pandemic.
That's right, MNBA.
So, what we seeing here? What is his reasoning? I'm always curious about that. So, the Hawks recently announced a theme night with Magic City for their game against the Orlando Magic on March 16th. The night will feature a performance from Atlanta native T.I. While fans will be able to buy Magic City's famous wings and branded hoodies. However, Cornett, a devout Catholic, said he disapproves of the night, writing in a Medium post that it would reflect poorly on us as an NBA community, specifically in being complicit in the potential objectification and mistreatment of women in our society. In a press release, the Hawks said Magic City is a, quote, iconic cultural institution and praised its, quote, pivotal role in hip hop and Black culture. Wow. That's a lot. Initial thoughts. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
So, who does he play for the Hawks? Like, who's this dude now?
He's some player. Honestly, I don't even care for real because there's plenty of Catholic niggas that's in the strip club. I really feel like he did this shit for attention for real because no one else cared about this. And I was excited. I said, if I was there, I would have went for the wing. Shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't even understand the thing a lot. What's going on? He big tall guy. I've never heard of this dude. But yeah, I don't know.
They said he a player, but I don't even know if he playing in the league right now. They had listed him with a team on there, but I'm unsure.
San Antonio Spurs center.
Oh, he plays for the Spurs. He's 7'1". So
mind you, he don't even play for these niggas.
And Magic City is in Atlanta, right? So there's not another Magic City.
It's the Orlando Magic playing the Hawks, so they doing a Magic City. Honestly, the shit was catchy. I don't
Well,
understand. Like,
okay, so I think there is the level of conversation that strip club wings are good. I
Yeah.
agree. That's absolutely true. What I
wings
would
is good as
say
fuck.
Well, I don't know about that.
is
Oh, I got another one.
that what I'm interested. So yeah, what is his ideology? What is his reasoning? So Cornette is a devout Catholic. So that does make sense. Now,
He don't
whether or
even be
not, like
going
you
to
said,
mass.
I hear you, Amber, but like you're saying, whether that would be the thing, whether he actually is living up to his ideology,
What's
which
his
whether it's
next Substack gonna be about the priest who keep touching the little boys? Since he, has all these morals that he's upholding.
there's a lot of things, but I actually think for the sake of this, I want us to focus on the fact that he's hiding a contradiction. You're absolutely right on his end as a Catholic. Come on, I don't. But if we would do it, does his practice match his theory? And then you could talk about Catholic priests and the little boys and girls, and you can talk about all the things. But what I'm interested in is how the Hawks are responding, because I think they said some stuff that we should be very, very critical of. First, it's the Hawks. So this is an official organization, corporation. Magic City is an iconic cultural institution. Okay, so I'm sure the Hawks will say that about themselves. So a business says another business is iconic. Sure. The ideology in this case is he's a Catholic. And so that is why he's critiquing the exploitation of women, or in this case, the impurity of a strip club, right? We would critique it for different reasons, like worker exploitation, patriarchy, things like that, right? But they go on to say, which is what I'm interested in, its pivotal role in hip hop and Black culture. So the Atlanta Hawks have determined that Magic City is a part of Black culture. And I'm curious as to how that happens
I mean,
and why that's
I think you know how that happened. You know,
right.
Killer Mike, the consultant.
Because that's a wild thing for a NBA organization to say. They could,
No,
there's a lot of
no,
ways
no,
you could go. You
no.
could say someone else picked this partnership, or the local community pitched it, or anything, but they had the confidence to say, actually, we think this is Black history. Like, this is a cultural institution.
I think you're missing something.
What I miss.
Do you know who the Hawks owner is?
This is the power analysis I wanted. No, let me check it out. Who's the Hawks owner?
It's Tony Wrestler.
Okay.
Who that?
You know who
Yeah.
Tony Wrestler is?
He
No,
looks
we don't know
scary.
white people.
He's Killer Mike's Bucker daddy. Like, literally, Killer Mike praises this man and is mentored by this man. And so anybody who's connected to Killer Mike, who helps Killer Mike get money, him and John Hope Bryant, he actually bankrolled these niggas. They gonna consult with Killer Mike, and what Killer Mike talk about? Strip clubs, ass, and culture, Black people, whatever. Like that's a who else to know other than Killer Mike as the voice for Black people? Like, he knows the voice for Black people. So, like, yeah, I mean, like, now you're gonna have to argue with Killer Mike that ain't our culture, and you ain't gonna win the argument in this realm. Mike,
yep.
So,
which is fucked up.
Yeah. I thought this was an interesting story. I do think he has a point. Like, that's the funniest thing. Even though I think he's coming at it from a conservative direction, where he says, "We desire to provide an environment where fans of all ages can safely come and enjoy the game of basketball, and where we can celebrate the history and culture of communities in good conscience. The celebration of a strip club is not conduct aligned with that vision." I agree. I actually think he's right. But this is a sick society, and so I mean, I could say that about the military, right? So this is why I come back to, you don't stand it. I'm sure, I don't know if you probably wore maybe the "I Can't Breathe" T-shirt. I don't know if you're that kind of liberal with the NBA, but I don't even know if he was doing that. So did his Catholic faith have him do that? I don't even think so. But even if he
Not at
did,
all.
it misses this point. Like, okay, let's do that about the military. Let's do that about all of these institutions that are celebrated by the NBA. Let's do it about all these companies. What are these companies invested in? If you want to morality police the thing. But regardless, and Jared makes this point about C. Dolores Tucker, yes, you can be a conservative and still make a valid critique on people's own terms. This is what liberals and Republicans, they go back and forth on all the time. So this is the white man with Killer Mike. Oh, thank you for this picture. Geechee, this is excellent research, brother. Thank you very much. This is why I wanted this story. I didn't even know. Oh, guys.
Name one of them. Name any one of them that's gonna say that the script club is not a part of Black. Pick one that's going to say no.
God. This photo, Geechee. Yo. Okay, we could cut the clip. We could clip that. That's so Killer Mike.
When Jeezy said, "I own
Usher.
half of," Jeezy said, "I own half of Atlanta, nigga. I own half of Atlanta." The real estate people said that nigga rent one building. This Atlanta, bro.
Yeah, man.
I told my elders, they was like, I said, y'all ever heard of E. Franklin Frazier? They said no. I was like, well, he created this not an analogy, but it's research that said black people are engaged in the world of make-believe in 1959. And Atlanta is the capital of that world.
Mm-hmm.
World of make-believe. On both sides, left and the right.
Yeah, with the white capitalist benefactor behind the whole thing. And the network is just clearly outlined there. I appreciate that because we didn't know who the owner was. The Heat owner is a super Zionist. So if he has a network like this, I'd be interested in it. So Atlanta having that makes sense. I also would point out, I'm glad I didn't forget this part of the story. T.I. got a weird case. Why is he around? And it's cases. And it's dozens.
Certified pedophile.
So we talked about this a little bit last week, but again, my critique won't come as a devout Catholic, but that is not a family-friendly thing. This person who is going to be promoting this business that exploits women is somebody who's got sexual assault cases. I think that's interesting. I don't find that family-friendly. I would protest that. So that's all. Just appreciated this story, appreciated some of the contradictions it highlighted, and Geechee, you found the perfect one. That's exactly what I'm thinking about.
If folks want to have a conversation around the industry of sex work and other stuff, like, man, let's have that conversation, but don't be talking to them niggas over there. I don't, the tall white boy or the rappers, either one of them, I don't want to have no conversation with them about it, none of that shit.
Definitely. We good with this story? I think we covered it. All right. I had another one since we're sticking to this entertainment.
I do wonder if he is going to be making any, follow-ups to that one Substack post he made. That was 1.5 paragraphs, but
yeah. I also won't be surprised if he's running for office in 10 years. We'll see. That seems like a soft launch if I'm paying attention to the trajectory.
For the Catholics, he's trying to be the next white evangelical seminarian.
Yeah, that's a bag. We know that's a bag. Okay, for this next story, we talked about comedy a lot and its effect on people's consciousness, particularly Black men's consciousness, unfortunately, as it's become increasingly right-wing, as these networks are combined, as Ben Shapiro is hiring Jonathan Majors to star in an action movie, right? So Black men are being courted by the right, specifically with right-wing ideology, and comedy has kind of historically been that pathway, at least mainstream comedy that makes it out of our community. So I wanted to check out this comedian sketch, which I thought was great. Mo really hates media.
Is there audio?
You can't hear it?
Nope.
Ah, my bad. Hold on. What happened to my audio? Let me cancel my share and then try and share again.
So I know I ain't that damn high.
Hey, go ahead. I'll restart it. How is this working? Let's see.
Now you gotta hit
Yeah, tell me if you hear.
In a room, and you hear a woman breathe, yuck. I have very strong opinions on trans people. I can't name 3 trans people who have ever done anything to me. Hey, remember when I had a TV show and Paul Mooney used to write all my jokes? Yeah, that means I'm funny somehow. That means you like me somehow. Man, we need to keep hitting children. I turned out okay and I got hit. That's why I have a microphone and I keep telling strangers to beat their kids even though I don't know how they act. I joke about beating women, beating children, killing trans people, hating gay people, fucking with people in wheelchairs. But if somebody is like anti-black to me, I'm appalled and surprised. Because why would my fan base ever support bigots? I need young pussy. Young. Old enough to drive, not quite old enough to vote. And I think that's okay. And I should say it on a podcast. I don't respect you or myself enough to Google the shit I write jokes about because you're going to laugh anyway. Y'all niggas don't read. I think you dumb because I'm dumb. Hey, fellas.
So there's so many things this can apply to. Someone already pointed out Corey Holcomb's entire special, basically. But there's so many. I thought the Dave Chappelle shots were accurate. I thought quite a bit of this was accurate, and I find the comments telling. If you go to that post, and you see there are comedians in there that are laughing. There are comedians in there, who I find more positive. Kev on stage is in there laughing like this is good comedy, and then there are comedians in there, hit dogs, hollering, "Oh, whoa, what is it? What do you mean, brother?" So there's a whole bunch of Dave Chappelle. He paved the way for you. You can't critique Dave Chappelle. You wouldn't even be here. This blurred comedy wouldn't exist if it weren't for. All right.
That's the line, Art.
I think he does because I'm dumb.
That's what Jay-Z said. Literally, he dumbed down his dollars to double. I mean, dumbed down for his audience to double his dollar. So that's how dumb you are.
Yeah, man. It's great comedy. Punching up, as I always say. Corey Holcomb is somebody who he's somewhat popular. I think he's more popular in association with other comics. Like he was on Wild 'N Out, I remember early on. So those kind of ensemble things. He was in was it Kevin Hart's Entourage for a little while? Right. So these comedians often hang together, and then the right-wing money ends up fusing into the space.
So, but do you think, to that point, do you think it's kind of fascinating though, like when you, like if Jay-Z said a long time ago that he dumbed down for his audience to double his dollar, y'all didn't appreciate it, but then y'all holler, or whatever, the whole little language there. And then to see the Epstein files, and the man said, you know why this ain't Sao Paulo? Because the niggas who supposed to be in the street, they got bought off by Jay-Z. Like, you don't think that's kind of like...
And Jay-Z runs the cultural division of the NFL and picked Bad Bunny as the performer for Super Bowl this year. Yes.
We passed kneeling. Like,
and his wife performs in Black Panther regalia after that. Yes. We the counterinsurgency is clear.
Disney of their racist things and to get the subscriptions back. Like, what are we talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yeah. Erica, shout out Sister Erica in the chat. The other Amber and Erica show that we love. Don't Google Corey, he's vile. Yeah, he's pretty vile. The jokes about the PDF file stuff was related to his comedy, though he is not the only one I've heard. And so just, a lot of the comedy that we look up to has many punching down elements. Now, of course, people will cite the ones who don't, like Dick Gregory, in our tradition, and they'll point that out. I'll say stuff like Gil Scott Heron fits in that tradition to me, but they are radical and they are exceptions, the same way Muhammad Ali is an exception among athletes. So like to hold up the radical exceptions ignores the ones who are the most promoted, right? So yeah. But that was my pop culture news. Oh no, we had another one. The U.S. military doing its own propaganda, and someone made this very clear comparison, which I thought was helpful. So I don't know if y'all have seen this video going around. Woman celebrates new home she purchased after joining the army. Now this isn't new. They've been doing this kind of stuff for over a decade now, but it's just the TikTok version. So check this out.
5-star bitch and I'm about to blow. 5-star bitch and I'm about to blow. Yeah. 5-star bitch and I'm about to blow. 5-star bitch and I'm about to blow. 5-star bitch and I'm about to blow. Yeah. Hoes burnt out. For sure. Bitch, I'm the illest, the sickest flow. Want me to come, but I have my dough. Payment on side, on matter though. Need a
I just want to say my house is bigger and I don't have to use a VA home loan.
That
But
part.
I do know a nigga who bought a house with a VA home loan. And to me, it really ain't shit because you still using a loan. It's not like the government gave you some money. You still got to use a loan. Shit. Honestly, if your dumb ass go join the imperialistic army, the least they can do is give you like 50K for a house. They giving you niggas loans. You should be insulted. You could have died. Actually, there's people dying last week. But hey, I'm not joining the shit, so it's cool. But I do think that if there was some kind of veterans rights people or whatever, I would be fighting for some money instead of a loan. I think that's
Yeah.
stupid.
Benefits. Everyone knows. I mean, the main comment I saw in response to this was that veterans are not treated well. Like that's the main thing. Go look on the street. I was talking about those, unhoused folks earlier. Quite a few of them are veterans. Veterans do not receive good health care. Sometimes veterans have all sorts of psychiatric issues, to our point earlier about managing stress. It's a whole host of things. So I think from that angle, from that perspective, this is already dead in the water. Like you just said, Amber, that she's not putting the terms and conditions under there. Just saying they helped you buy a house. And then we already know that since the beginning, imperialism's driven us in for hopes of improving our economic condition, either because of survival reasons, which, is what it is, but also because we're being drawn in and told to believe in this. What I liked about the tweet in response to this was that it stated, tell me the difference between these videos of Black women in the U.S. Army dancing and using their looks to advertise the benefits of being enlisted. Women enlisting the IOF use their looks and bodies to make the genocidal death cult on social media. And it's from Carolyn Hines, Free Palestine, Congo in Crisis. I see the strengths of this parallel. I agree for the most part. It is very similar. And
I think
because
it's definitely similar because they was making similar TikToks. Have you seen those too? The ones with the IOF people?
Yeah, exactly. I think the only difference is the Blackness is what makes it different. Whereas, those Zionist women are trying to use their Jewish identity to sell themselves a minority, but they are still white. I think in this case, the culture, again, we know they're not pulling on their culture, the settlers. But in this case, you hear hip hop music in the background, the comments I saw to that point about the Hawks talking about Magic City and who makes Black culture, right? I'm seeing a lot of Black cultural, affectations in this U.S. Army ad. So I think that is the main difference in the psychology that we have to remember. But it is the same strategy of using social media to manipulate people, of having attractive women in the military, which is known for sexually assaulting women, this kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I think that they're definitely similar. And I feel like after seeing the videos of like people who are in Iran who are like Black, there's a Black girl who played basketball who like was vlogging the experience because she didn't have internet for part of it. So she was like vlogging the experience and like what it's like being from the US, being over there. 'Cause she's playing basketball. They only had one Black player and it was her. And then the Iran players and the Syrian players are like, call Trump, get him on the phone. Da, da, da. I was like, now what kind of shit is that? And you know how fucking mad I would be if we are outside running for our lives from bombs. Like there was a bomb like a mile from her. She could see it. We outside running from bombs and you dumb motherfuckers talking about call Trump. That ain't even funny. And I could not imagine being in the army feeling the same way. Like being in the army and running for my life. I would be so fucking mad, but I wouldn't be in no damn army because I ain't stupid.
Yep. And I mean, adding on to that, like you'll be used for other things. It's not just going to be this video. So if this is true, Sudeep says a woman in that video also pretended to do a mass killing in Iran by shooting her gun everywhere. And so, yeah, to me, that, I'm sure in your mind, maybe when they tell you about the skit, you're like, okay, this is a little bit different from the dancing for a house thing. But that's how they get you already on the pipeline. Now you can step back and make yourself a target by saying no, which people do. And we hear stories about that. And they're usually people who get pushed out and defect and deal with those things. But a lot of people are going to just say yes, especially if they're not politicized, especially if they don't know the truth. To that point, I did see this come up this week. It is one of my favorite clips I've seen in quite some time. talking about hip hop culture, that kind of thing. Someone tell me if this is, I forget who the brother in the Philly versus everybody shirt is. I've seen him many, many times. I thought it was Hollow the Dawn. I might be wrong. But this is battle rap. This
Can't
is rapper
tell. Hold on. Let me make it
My
bigger.
Face Mad. Yeah, I'm gonna make it bigger and we're gonna see. But I appreciated this. I don't know this dude's entire content, but this was crazy. So shout out
The first
African Stream.
was gonna go wild.
Yeah, yeah.
I was in the Marine Corps. People ain't know that. But unlike you, I ain't proud of that. Because uppity white people kept thanking me for service. So I felt foul for that. I was running with grown-ass men who would drop a bomb where a child was at. They say they turned me to a man. It turns out that's where the cow was at. Nah, because niggas howling, God bless the troops while the Lord's watching. Like he don't notice your prophet and your prophet is your prophet. Boy, stop it. You don't even know how the war started. You just couldn't afford college.
The rapper is My Face Mad,
Free
yo.
money. He said free money.
Free money. Free money. He said free money. Yeah. Free money. He said it's free money because he couldn't afford college. I had the same dream as Martin. I woke up and absorbed knowledge.
That ain't hit the way,
Acting
but
like because they paying us well, the shit is fine. I realized I got enemies too. And I get held for killing theirs, but jailed for killing mine. I was in.
now tell me our people wouldn't fuck with that. And this is what we mean by rap can be anything. This could be content. This could be rap, but it isn't because we know who's in control of rap. The delivery, the style, the content, everything. Everybody was fucking with that. So it's just not gonna get played. That was the rapper My Face Mad. Sorry, real quick, it's My Face Mad because everyone kept asking who that was, and the other one was Gilly, who was in the Marines or joined the army or something like that. I think people were pointing out. Go ahead, Gucci.
My bad. What if, because you said everyone's feeling it, what if we feeling it and like these people just respond to battle rap and they're not really grasping what I don't think you kind of said is like the way the certain bars ain't hitting. Like maybe this nigga's gonna walk away from those room and there's gonna be no political engagement, no nothing. Like they're not gonna be radicalized or whatever. And I think that's kind of where the argument goes. Is like even if you say the realest shit in a room full of goofy people, the chances are that the shit might not even land. But I guess a good point is it's recorded. And by recording, we can now share it and say it. But like, I don't know if everything he said hit in that room the way it could hit. And then an average rapper fan, I don't know that it's going to hit the way it hit for us. So I guess the artist used to be discussed as opposed to it politicizing somebody by somebody coming in contact with it.
Right. Yeah. Also, y'all in the chat, the chat is not coming through. Okay, it's not Gilly. Who is it? I don't know. Y'all said three different people.
It was not Gilly at all.
Yeah, it don't matter. Yeah, I was going. I don't remember my battle rapper, so he looked kind of like Hollow, but it didn't look like Hollow. So I don't know who it was. It was great battle rap. That was my point, and everything was well thought out. Again, I don't know this brother's whole catalog, but the rapper's My Face Mad, and that was fire. I like how he responded to the free money thing. I think the Dr. King line went over some people's head, but once you know Beyond Vietnam, that line is crazy. So just, yeah, man, excellent. And that's something I see very often in the rap game. And that's another reason why we talked last week. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of conscious rap. I'm going to be real with you. Because I don't like people who I think are less politically developed trying to tell niggas what to do. It's just a pet peeve of mine.
So listen. The next rapper could say something easy, like you was rapping that conscious shit. Yeah, they heard what you said, but even your revolutionary Malcolm X died broken, dead. I'm about my bag, and they was like, oh, and then everything he says is gone. Because Killer Mike said it took a capitalist to bury Kwame Ture. Remember, he said that on the stage with white people.
Mhm.
Right? So
When
that's
you
why,
say that,
at one of these things when he was probably with Wrestler, he was talking with Wrestler and talking about, this and that, and he was like, they say that whatever, capitalism, but they needed the capitalist to send his body back home and bury him or something, shit like that. So like, it's not a lot of room in rap culture, as Keontae say, battle rap, to actually like know that these niggas are even hearing what you're saying. They just hearing ooh. But yeah.
Yep.
And you could put a
That's
punchline
true.
together and they like the punchline, not what the punchline said.
That's true. That's true.
But I love it. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no, I appreciated that. And just the lines being drawn. And again, another line, just we were making the network clear, but there was the discussion of Beyonce still having performances and things in Israel. And all of this Obama class, I know there's the Epstein class, and there's the joke that Obama's not in the files, but there's an accessory Obama class, and they're all in it, and they all will still do business
everybody's
with this people.
complicit.
But I mean, I think specifically the bubble that they're in, the network they're in, if you see Obama's years, and if we were to go back and study the celebrities he brought into the Miss Leadership class, makes sense. LeBron is there, makes sense. Jay-Z. I mean, Jay-Z and Beyonce, didn't they literally perform at his inauguration, if I'm not mistaken? Well, I think Beyonce performed their first dance. So that network has been being created, because 2008 was still legit. Like, that network has been being built for a very, very, very long time. So I think we're just seeing the fruits of that network. I said Beyonce and Jay-Z, Zenzi. So I think we're seeing the fruits of that network right now. I also think that what's very interesting about these folks is this identity discussion that we keep having around Zionist women performing these kinds of things, around Black women being held up as we hold up the sky, but then they're used to spread all sorts of mess, right? So I feel like we can talk about this next segment.
One thing about Lord, his video
Yeah.
gonna freeze.
Oh man, I don't know it's my Wi-Fi. Is it back? Yo, am I
It
back?
just came back.
Yeah, they love freezing on me.
You've been frozen every other 3 minutes. So I said, you know what?
I don't know what it is, yo. I'm gonna have to find more reliable internet, I guess, or
You
Ethernet
think it's the
cable.
Wi-Fi? You don't think it's the camera?
My laptop camera, maybe. I got to troubleshoot this because it's been happening for weeks now. Thanks for catching it though. My bad. I have the timestamp for this pulled up. So I'm sure y'all have seen some takes already about the campaign with Crockett and Tallarico. I have heard a lot of different back and forth, but I did think one source that I found pretty helpful that maybe we could work through is Dr. CBS and her discussion of it in terms of the Democratic Party strategy, because I think that's a really important way to go about this. So Dr.
Did you see the
CBS,
post that she made about giving a definition for identity politics?
I have not. If you can pull that up and while we pull this clip up, can you? Because I would
It's
love
on
to.
Threads. I don't know how to do that from Threads, but
Threads
I
is
do think
crazy.
I like Threads. I mean, honestly,
No, I
that's
know.
really
I'm just
good.
saying.
I'll try to
Yeah.
find it and I can read it, but I thought it was a really good definition.
Please do. I would love to. Yeah, me and Ricky are getting attacked now. I don't know what it is. Camera don't love us. So this was Dr. CBS. It wasn't recently. It was before the race was resolved, February 12th. Her discussion on Bad Bunny, Jasmine Crockett, Obama, and Trump making him and Michelle apes through an AI and other things like that. So let's check it out.
Of like which faction will win the soul, the donut-shaped soul of the Democratic Party, if you will. And interestingly enough, I think perhaps Jasmine Crockett's success or not might have some influence on that.
Say more, because that's a good segue, because I've been wanting to talk about her.
Yeah, so I think that if she fares well, and is able and conveys that she can galvanize votes, I think that might present an opening for a racialized person or a woman to be in more contention for other types of offices up to and including the presidency. On the other hand, so what seems really difficult is that Black women have been, so it's been open season on Black women, right? And with respect to sort of Trump's attacks, the attack on DEI, it's been majority Black women. And so if that continues,
specifically the unemployment numbers and the number that, you know, between the federal jobs that have been lost, Black overrepresentation in federal jobs, the unemployment numbers show that Black women have been suffering disproportionately, just to put a finer pin on it. Yeah.
And so if that is the case, then that raises questions about what will Black women actually be able to do in office if they're going to have to be defending themselves against these relentless attacks. How well will they actually be able to serve a constituency? Does voting in a Black woman represent, again, a rebuke of this attack on Black women through this anti-DEI measure? So I think that all of these are unresolved questions. And, you know, is Kamala going to be like another Hillary who like lost, ran again, lost again? And I'm not even thinking about, because technically this will be the Kamala's third time. But I'm just thinking about, you know, the time she actually got, you know, and if she actually will get the nomination, because she didn't actually get the nomination. She was appointed after Biden dropped out. So, you know, I think, so that to me is, it'll see what kind of strategic pivot the Democratic Party will be making in terms of what ideology it will be pushing and how it will contend with color and gender.
All right, so I think you're right that the Jasmine Crockett race is sort of becoming a litmus test for the viability of Black female candidates. I would like to stake my flag on the ground and say it absolutely should not be. Similarly, I don't think Kamala Harris's failures should be broadly read onto the political possibilities of Black women. And let me tell you why. For people who haven't been following, Jasmine Crockett has
she cut Dr. CBS now
in Texas.
No. Dr. CBS was finished with her point.
Wait. But go back. Look at that. Like right before she got off, Dr. CBS made one of them Geechee faces. Like, nah, I'm
Black women, and let me tell you why.
And then
broadly read onto the political possibilities of Black women, and let me tell you why.
Yeah. I think.
I don't agree with Brianna at all.
But that like, and I'm saying that because like that, I've been in interviews where that happened.
And there's a cut, right?
Yeah, like my Conrad Saffold before he transitioned, like he said some shit that challenged the host, and the host was like, and took him off the camera, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So it's like that's what that looked like just now.
Sure. Well, I actually wanted to pause it there before Bree's analysis because I think the main thing was I was interested in Dr. CBS's before we get into Bree's, so maybe that was the perfect place to pause before we say that. I think Dr. CBS's analysis makes the most sense in terms of how the Democratic Party is doing this regarding Black women as candidates, or can we just run bland white guys and win? I see that as.
I don't think it was a litmus test though, because they have run before. But I also will say she wasn't supported by the Democratic Party, so I don't think that's it either. I think saying that it was a test by the Democratic Party is stupid because they was not fucking with her.
Well, I think it's a test about who can win in terms of their odds, not necessarily about who they back, but about who can win. Similar to Kamala, because I don't think
seen that Black women cannot win. They have not been able to win those races. So how many litmus tests?
You're absolutely right.
She didn't run. The other girl that ran multiple times. Stacey Abrams ran multiple times. We have seen that it has not worked. I don't think it's a test because the test has been proven 8 times.
So my response to that would be that's a scientific method. I agree. I just think it's another replication of a previous experiment. And I think to your point, it's been done better. And they talk later about Stacey Abrams, who I think would be an example of a litmus test in that case, especially because, and I think Dr. CBS raises, she has a base. She has actual, organizing power within Atlanta. She had a lot of political capital built up from, she bent the knee to Joe Biden in that way. I'm saying that she did to the Democrats what they asked and bent the knee to Joe Biden in that way and was not able to win. And I think, Amber, your point is also important. They are not really supporting you. it's kind of like they'll sit back and see if it happens, and if it works out in their favor, then they'll be like they supported you the whole time. That's how I've seen their strategy be. But go ahead. I'm curious.
And you're saying they as in the DNC?
I think it's a win-win for them. Like if black women prove that they can be the whole thing, they'll back them up. They'll say, "We love you, Ketanji. Here's the book deals, all of that." But the minute they don't work
The
out, they'll be
DNC
like,
doesn't do that though. I will just say that this, for congressional candidates, it's the DCCC, not the DNC. They're
"Thank
all
you."
separated. So the DNC is for like governors and elected officials
I
in
meant the
executive
Democratic
committees.
Party, though. That's what I meant to
Okay.
say. You said
Oh,
the
okay, okay.
Democratic Party.
Yeah,
Like,
the Democratic Party apparatus. My bad for that.
I'm not talking
Thank
about
you.
the convention per se, but I'm just talking. Yeah. So
Yeah.
because what I was hearing is like, seemed like I think y'all having a conversation in the container, but I was hearing CBS like explain outside the container, and Brianna don't even understand because like that's
Yeah,
like,
I feel like Brianna
she was
didn't
speaking-
interpret it right.
She was speaking over, unfortunately. So Jasmine Crockett, and she said, if she's in this organization and in this container, so she's in the organization, Democrat, she's a Democrat, and in the container, the Republican, duopoly. In that container, if she's going to be defending herself all the fucking time, how's she going to get some work done? What can she possibly achieve if most of her energy is fucking defending herself? That's what I heard CBS saying. And with that said, with that party, she doesn't have a party or organization with the capacity to protect her, or even the willingness, as Lord was saying. I don't even know if they want to. Both of them like, yeah, me and you cousins, and this is our method to achieve U.S. hegemony. But we ain't gonna snap ourselves because we can't be married to them black people. Because so if they lose, whatever. So maybe they aren't like protecting her. Whatever. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't think they were, and I do agree with what CBS was saying, which is like expanding on. I think that's exactly what was gonna happen. She was gonna be fighting for her life the entire time, just like she was on the campaign. And I personally don't think she should have ran for Senate. Not because I don't think she should have won. I think that they have shown her that they don't fucking care about her. That they will use her as a popular person to be a figurehead, but that's it. They don't care about her as a person or the things that she wants to do. They'll post viral clips of her and use her likeness the same way we do black people all the time, but they don't care about her as an actual person. And that's what I didn't like. It's like you could tell throughout this whole campaign, they didn't really give a fuck about her. I saw a lot of her congressional like mates really like supporting her. Like Ayanna Pressley was out there for her. Adelita was out there for her. Like mostly women. I barely saw a lot of men and black men at that. I just think that it was we want this evangelical white guy who pretending to be Hispanic because his last name is Tallarico, and he refuses to clarify that he is not Hispanic. And
Ariana Grande? He's Ariana Grande again? I didn't know that. Oh,
I think this is why the interview is important and maybe clarity for us. Like CBS is staying within her logic that she understands and showing her logic doesn't work. But CBS is also will tell you that she's not examining her politics. She examined just the logic of this black woman. If she examined her policies, the shit is flat, nigga, like trash. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like what's important, and be like, that's on that show. Like CBS is impeccably media trained and know how to like stay to a point and get the point across clear, and you ain't gonna be able to clip her shit up. Now that's why I mean, I know somebody said it might be a different clip. That's why when that face was like nah, I ain't say all that now. Like you try to editorialize what I just said.
They can't clip my shit up either. I know exactly what she mean.
I do want to say, I did watch it a clip a few times. I still think this is a possibility, Geechee, though yours is still there. The CBS man in the face, laughing alongside Bree at folks who try to make Crockett and Kamala litmus test. I read it that way, but maybe your way is right too. I want us to revisit that. No, Ariana Grande is not Hispanic. That's a white girl from Boca who tans. And Coffee Soda Boys Flow.
Their last name is just Grande. I don't even know how it ended up being Grande. I don't know if they got married or whatever, because her brother's name is Grande too, Frankie Grande, because he was on Big Brother, and I watched Big Brother.
People forget Spanish is a European language too. Yeah, another colonizer language. Yeah. So I guess the question then is, because Amber, you and I talked a bit about this, and Tallarico, like you're saying, isn't anything impressive either. So I guess the
No,
question
I actually
is,
think Tallarico is way more dangerous. And I
okay,
mean,
let's talk
I
about it.
think that, and I talked to some people about this too, because I really feel like folks ganged up on Jasmine Crockett in a way they were not willing to critique Tallarico. They ganged up on her about those Israel votes, which I mean I didn't agree with. But also that one vote compared to all the other votes she made that were supporting things that people do care about, people do want, people in her district are asking for. To me, the good that she did is not outweighing the good that she did is outweighing that one vote. And she didn't take APAC money. And so then they were trying to like twist the narrative like, well, she didn't take APAC money, but they put out these other graphics. And I don't think it was fair because even Afeni put out a video that I talked to her about. I was like, you putting out this video that was giving a narrative that James Tallarico received some money a long time ago. He received some money 3 years ago. Like, we got to make sure if we're going to compare. That's the only thing with me is you're going to compare the two people. Let's compare the two people.
Mhm.
Jasmine Crockett did a lot more when she was a state rep than what James Tallarico has done. He did miss over 800 votes in the state house. He definitely does not fuck with abortion. He's definitely anti-abortion, very Christian evangelicalist, and he has said slight shit here and there on these Christian podcasts he's gone on. And I think that is way more dangerous than someone voting on the Israel vote that she made and she's still not taking APAC money because folks care about their abortion rights. People in Texas are dying because they don't have access to abortion rights. And he is extremely religious and he uses these random quotes of scripture and this cute tone to sound like he supports the people. But if you pay attention to what he's saying, he's pushing a lot of white Christian nationalism language, a lot of white Christian evangelical stuff that's going to be very, very dangerous. And so I don't want him to win. And I did want her to win. And I don't think that I honestly am really worried that he's going to lose the general because so many people in Texas are not fucking with him because I'm seeing video clips just yesterday just came out. And now that he's won, we're seeing some video clips of what his new messaging is going to be. And that new messaging is very Christian centered. He's talking about his anti-abortion stance and how he thinks that he can still go in with that stance and still support the people. That they don't believe that. So I can understand us wanting to critique Jasmine Crockett. I totally get that. She is definitely like one of the most popular, politicos. I totally understand that. But I do not think James Tallarico is going to be who they think he is. And he definitely got support because he is a white man in seminary with diabetes. And he is pushing this nationalism language. And he is getting support from the APAC-like folks. He is still getting that PAC money that came in to support him. Because I look into the financials. The independent expenditures that were running against Jasmine Crockett for Tallarico, all APAC related, heavy like Christian nationalism orgs. They were supporting him heavy. One org put like $3 million behind him in radio ads. And I just think that that's way, way, way more dangerous than what Jasmine Crockett had did. And I feel like they were really holding that against her versus looking at what could possibly happen because we know that she will support abortion rights. We know that she will support folks getting access to health care. We know how she feels about like the key topics around like grocery affordability and stuff like that. It's iffy with him. He was not answering questions directly. When I was watching that debate, one thing I really didn't like is that the moderator had to say to him multiple times, I'm going to repeat the question because we need an answer to the question. He was not answering the actual questions they were asking him. He was giving them literal like quotes of scriptures. He was quoting the Bible and then quoting vague statements that did not go with what they were asking. And I think that's way more dangerous because one thing about it, Jasmine Crockett will at least answer you. She'll answer and she'll answer pretty directly. And if not, they'll ask her more follow-ups. But he was not answering anything. He's just kind of keeping this persona. And I just think that that's way more dangerous. And plus, white men are dangerous anyways. Because you know what they said in Pocahontas? These white men are dangerous. And I definitely think he's dangerous.
Yeah. Movie should have never been made, but they had
Oh,
that
my
one
bad. For the people who asked about the
line.
diabetes, I'm sorry, y'all. I mentioned that because, so I'm in creator chats. So they're talking about what's happening. And right now, he will not commit to going on like a rally tour, support tour with the other candidates who won in their primaries on the Democratic primary. It's like a collective ticket. He's saying it's because he got diabetes, that he needs to take time and rest. And I said, you can't rest and give them an answer. They just asking if you're going to support, we're going to do this
This
thing together.
guy.
he's not responding to them. So his camp has been reaching out. They've been reaching out to them. The camp isn't responding. He's not responding. And he said that he just got to get some rest because he got diabetes. And I just think that that's a cop out. And he's just mentioning it because, you know, it looks good to say I got diabetes so I can relate to people, you know, who are on Medicare or who have medical issues as like a, you know, reason to not be available. But you can email the people back or text them back and say whether or not you're gonna do this little tour thing. I don't even care if he does it or not, but I do think that he's being, like somebody said in the chat, a typical white guy. He's doing like the cop out shit, and I don't like that.
I agree. All of that sounds disgusting to me. I also understand that he's probably less established in his work, which a less qualified white guy winning over a black woman. Again, you know, the narratives will write themselves, whether in liberal spaces or in radical spaces. But I just came back to our structural conversation, right? Because we talk about this on this channel through like a gender report, through all the history we pull from. These are two Democrats. This is the Democratic Party. And so, Ever, I think you and I were just like, can you be a Democrat, especially in the Senate level, and not be a Zionist? And the answer is no. So we already understood from the baseline.
Jasmine Crockett explained that well, too, when she said that there's a close relationship between the United States and Israel. And she was trying to explain why they have all these votes happening because of the close tie relationship. And I was like, yeah, explain to people that they are tied together and that the U.S. is going to keep pushing to support them. You shouldn't vote to support them, but at least explain the part of we keep having to vote for this. This is always in an aid package because of the type of like relationship they have. They are always going to put aid for Israel in a budget package. And until we start pushing back like we were this last budget cycle, even on this one appropriations bill, right? Like I have never seen folks organize around an appropriations bill like they did around this Israel shit in a while. Like we really got them to pause. Like the Senate was like, okay, we can't pass this. They literally changed the way they vote when they had voted the same way 30, 40 plus years. And they always have approved this funding, but we were able to pressure them. I think that that's a big win for community folks because we noticed that this is a close relationship they have. And we have to apply immense pressure to get them to stop doing it. And we were able to get them to stop that a little bit. Like we didn't totally win, right? But we were able to get them to change something and say, we'll just fund it for 2 weeks. We'll just fund it for this. And then now it's on the House. And then we had to switch that organizing to the House. So I did see really good organizing there that I also was like really pumped up about. And I know that really happened because of the election, because there was so much in the news about this Israel thing. People were paying attention to it. And then they found out about the appropriations bill. And they're like, oh, well, how can I fight back against this? This is how you can fight back. And that was, working for a little bit. We didn't win in the very end, but it got really close. Like we were in a partial shutdown for several weeks because of that shit.
Go ahead, Gish.
No, I think I guess my question is I don't know a lot about Jasmine Crockett, and I mean I just see her in media as like how folks, but I always suspect that certain people will have certain lines. So I did see that thing about like socialism and all this other stuff, and she denounced the horrors of socialism or whatever. So I'm wondering do y'all know what happened? What's happening there? Do you remember what happened? Or was that pretty much they was referring to like SNAP as socialism, and she was like, "No, we don't want to be compared to no totalitarian. I can't say a word. Government,
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? So yeah. Do y'all remember the context of that? And then what was your response?
Do you know if they were at a debate, like in the video, or something else?
Say that again.
Do you know if they were at the debate in the video, or that she was like talking to somebody one-on-one?
Well, it was. I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it was public, but because when I read it, it was saying something about like the GOP did something, and she said that was political theater. This is not no styling and all shit like that. Like, so I don't know where, but I was like, okay, so now what's her utility if she's saying shit like that?
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing so deep. They say, if I run for office, please, Amber, don't shame me for having diabetes.
That's messed up, bro.
I'm not shaming him. I just think he's full of shit.
No, he was using it the same way people like try and change their speech or whatever to sound more relatable. This is all psych warfare. These people are very, very familiar with that. So, Amber, to your point, I mean, so this is where we got back to it, right? They're Democrats, so they are Zionists. It is a job requirement. Okay, so that's we don't need to. I think that gets lost. The primary identity here, because I'm curious about CBS and identity politics in that term, because I still feel like it's misused. Is that what is the primary
Let me
contradiction?
pull
Her
up the
identity.
definition for you. I got
Yeah,
it right here.
please. The primary contradiction is her identity is as a Democrat. James Tallarico is a Democrat. The Democratic Party are in support of Israel, as you're saying. So this is clear. And if she were anti-Zionist, she would understand that and be able to highlight that clearly. I don't think Jasmine Banks is politicized in that way, and that's fine. I think she was trying to run within the Democratic Party, and that
You
has
don't
its own
think who is
limitations.
politicized in that way?
Jasmine Crockett.
You said Jasmine Banks. That's why I was confused. I said it sounded like you said Desmond Banks or something.
I'm thinking of Desi Banks. I'm sorry. I'm looking at Instagram right now.
See, I know
On
it
the
wasn't
old story.
crazy. I said, what did you
Oh,
say?
I'm looking at Desi because it's the Black Misleadership thing. I'm looking at Desi Banks in the thing. My bad, yo. Jasmine Crockett.
Okay, I put up the
And
definition of identity politics.
please do. Yeah.
CBS said identity politics is when your identity, or more accurately, what I call your structural location, informs your politics. Identity reduction is when your identity is your only politics. Your politics are reduced to identity. I reject the latter and find value in the former. I do find value in the first part. In identity politics is when your identity, or more accurately, what I call your structural location, informs your politics. I do think
Yeah.
that there's value in that. And I think that that was something that people also brought up in this Texas race. So many folks were talking about AIPAC. I literally was talking to Texas organizers. Most of the voters don't even know what AIPAC is. They don't care. And it's not even to be mean or like we don't give a fuck, but it's like they don't know what you're talking about. So like trying to use this as a I gotcha type of thing wasn't working because they don't know what you're referring to. Because in Texas, they talking about abortion and healthcare. They talking about access to Medicare, Medicaid, grocery bills, and oil prices because they got all them oil rigs and shit there. They talking about that kind of stuff. They don't care about the other thing, and I think that you can educate people on it to help them understand why they should care. But I feel like people were approaching folks with attacks and this idea of you should know what this is about, and they didn't. So it wasn't landing the way they thought it would, and so people online are just arguing back and forth. But the people in Texas is going to the debates and the rallies and stuff. And I think that there's also an opportunity there to educate them on it, but we weren't doing that. We're just like, let's put out these commercials and independent expenditure campaigns. Oh, my bad. For folks who don't know what an independent expenditure is, it's when an outside source not associated with the campaign runs advertising, radio ads, or support for a candidate. Like they can have canvassers out canvassing for somebody, and they run it under a PAC as an independent expenditure, so a separate expense, not associated with a political candidate or their campaign. I actually ran an independent expenditure a few times, and it's fun because there's not a lot of tape around it like normally with campaigns. So you should do whatever the fuck you want, and it'd be fun.
Yeah. I appreciate Chidi Macha's comment. Sorry, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I believe Jasmine Crockett genuinely cares about Black people, unlike Kamala Harris, but her naivety around U.S. foreign policy is a death knell to any kind of real advocacy to change our condition. I think that is the beginning and end of it, and these conversations are smaller contradictions within that. But go ahead, Geeky.
I fully agree with Chidi Macha. I've actually met Jasmine Crockett several times and hung out with her, and you can tell that she really deeply cares about Black people. I think the attacks that she's gotten about the U.S. foreign policy has pushed her to not be as open to learning because she's attacked so much about it. I have not seen people approach it in a way of explaining it to her other than me and one of my friends, Elizabeth Booker, Booker Squared, the one we talked about. Like they have tried to educate her on it. She, we had conversations about it, but I think when you approach stuff with attacks and she's attacked so much, it does get hard for people to listen to you, which I can definitely see that she really deeply cares about her community. Like I have seen that firsthand, especially I think with this campaign, I was really able to see, just seeing the different content coming out of people who knew her before she was a congressmember, when she was in the state house, who talked about the impact she had, that I think people should hear, because she had a really deep, profound impact on the Black folks in her community, helping them thrive in their small businesses, really building up the support that you want, that you want for Black folks. But I really don't feel like that story was being heard as much. I was seeing it because my friends were sharing it on social, so I'm seeing it on my timeline, but I don't feel like that was being shared as much, within the full apparatus space. And I really wish that I didn't see as much misogyny, because that's what I just saw, a lot of misogynoir. It just felt like this is black woman running, it's this white man, we fuck with the white man, we're gonna be misogynistic towards her. And I did not like that. I feel like there's a way that you can educate folks without being misogynistic and still hold them accountable. Because I was doing the same shit. I'm texting Elizabeth like, hey, do you need to say this and this? Like this is not okay. Like I'm saying like these things to them in real time because I think that that's important. I'm not yelling at you on the internet and making Instagram videos cussing you out. Like I don't think that that's effective or impactful. But I do just want to say I agree with this comment that Tallarico is white, entitled, and incompetent. I definitely think he's incompetent. I think he'll be fine in the Senate because all the motherfuckers is incompetent and they have staffers who do everything for them. So it doesn't matter that he doesn't know how to write a bill or understand policy or hasn't really voted on shit because he ain't been there. He was missing votes left and right. And I think anybody who bends to Republicans is dangerous. Somebody also said that Dre said he was a Zionist and white supremacist. I definitely think he's a white supremacist. Just off of how he talks about
He's a Democrat in Texas. We just coming back to like the job
yeah.
description. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That nigga, I mean, I know he done said some racist shit in his past. I'm waiting on the video to pop out. But I am really nervous about how he will bend to Republicans if he wins the Senate seat, because he did that in Texas. He was one of the only people who came back when they left the first time, when Jasmine Crockett was still there and they broke quorum. He came back and made a deal with Republicans. They agreed to the deal. They didn't do shit in that deal. He came back for nothing, missed all these votes for nothing, and he was the only one. I think people like that who will sell out for anything.
Okay. So
what you eating?
Some multi-seed stuff. So Nana C, or not Nana C, but so I study a lot of Amos Wilson. And Amos Wilson always talk about black people are afraid to talk about power. Talk about it in a way where they understand it. They have power analysis, external and internal, of their factions and organization. Constantly focusing on the power analysis. And they don't talk about it. And when they do engage it, they might, as Charlemagne says, speak truth to power. But they don't ever think about actually taking power. And so I'm even thinking about this conversation. Notice when the rapper said all those bars, right, about the U.S. and military and you nigga, you need to go to college. He never said Democratic or Republican, right? Mm-hmm. So he's knowing the U.S. vehicle, both of those parties use that thing, right? And so this book is full of shit. I'll just say that first. So this dude is like Anderson M. Bean. Well, I'm a give an objective analysis. I'm playing, I'm a critique both sides. Yes, the U.S. is trash, and he's in North Carolina somewhere. Yes, the U.S. is trash, but Maduro making bad choices, and he was making bad choices. He's going against what Chavez was doing. You know what I mean? And I know y'all saying the sanctions. I hear that. I know y'all saying the sanctions, but he been making bad decisions before the sanctions. If he's been making bad decisions for the sanctions, if Chavez win the revolution and his people win the revolution and the sanctions start coming a damn 2 months later, and Chavez go through a presidency with sanctions and then he die and then Maduro replace him, when the fuck the sanctions stop? How you gonna tell me he's making economic decisions that has no relations to sanctions and the sanctions was there before that nigga got there? What the fuck are you talking about here? So now you're basically saying this nigga and his wife should be kidnapped and brought over the fucking hair? What the fuck are you talking about? So I'm saying all of this to say, I hear Jasmine Crockett will even publicly say Maduro should not be, he should not be kidnapped. Like that was about oil, whatever. All that is true. But my sister, whenever you don't, in particular, respond to the socialism part, you forgetting that the military that you do support go put down people like Maduro and call them dictators. And the same language you use that undoes what you just said. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it becomes a little, because at the end of the day, like those people aren't really they're like social democrats and they have a particular use in the power analysis. And when you can analyze what they did this and they said this, like they have a big ass gate right there. They can't go past the gate. They don't want to go past the gate. That's why they would identify as social democrats. And they won't even be able to see how some of the subtle things they say or the things they don't say actually contradiction undo the thing that they do say because it's popular to say it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, and I'm sorry, this dude pissed me off. And so
They want to know what the book is, so I can, I guess, throw it in the trash.
Venezuela in Crisis: A Socialist Perspective by Anderson M. Bean.
Oh yeah, well, it sounds like a white leftist on imperialism.
I do think there's a power analysis there, Geechee. I think you brought up a good point. There's a power analysis there around AIPAC, and A-Rob talked about this in the chat earlier. I couldn't find it, but I think there is a power analysis around AIPAC and the use of AIPAC to, like, we mean weaponized against candidates and it not working in the way they think it will. Because I know that there was a huge North Carolina race with the Working Families Party candidate that was endorsed running against the black woman, and that black woman won, and people weren't surprised that she won. But the big reason why they were running the Working Families Party person, was because of the lady taking AIPAC money. And she like had explained it one time, talking about something about a business or something, but she didn't explain it in depth. But I just think that it was proving the point that I see, which is that AIPAC is not an issue for black people, even though it should be. I'm not saying that it shouldn't be, but it's not an issue that's being talked about well enough within the power analysis. And the way that it's being weaponized makes black folks feel like they definitely have to go against it. Like they can't trust people using it as a weapon because it's being weaponized against other black people who have done a lot of good. Like she in her community, because I know folks who live where she reps, and they said she's a great Congress member. Like they love her. And the only thing they had against her was her taking that AIPAC money. And I was like, I feel like you have to weigh that power analysis, right? Like, how do you explain to people why this is a bad thing and why they should remove her? Like, how does this make her like a prop, or in some way make her, what's the word, compromise? How does it make her compromise? And then how do we also balance that with wanting to make sure we have a black representative in Congress, because that district is majority black. So they wanted a black person. And I think that's also why they didn't support the Working Families Party candidate as much. And it felt like anti-blackness. Even though I know people weren't trying to do that, it felt anti-black to the people who live there. Because I'm talking to the niggas who live there, and they like, yeah, they attacking our one black rep over some stupid shit. Like that's how they're thinking about it, because it's not being explained. So I do think it's worth a deeper power analysis of how do we convey that to folks so they understand why it's dangerous. Like how does it make them compromise, and then are able to organize to change representation.
Yeah. Me and my comrade Asafa, we developed this lecture. It was called Real, African American, a critique on African progress in America. And the R stands for representation, E expiation, A amelioration, or L liberation. And kind of to your point, like this is why the pro-black analysis failed, because they're rooted in representation. So they were like, yo, the white boys have white cannon fodder. We need black cannon fodder. And you're like, what? Yeah, we need black people to take the bullets for the Democrats bullshit. Like, okay, huh? So like that pro-black stuff is like, it's baseless at most point. But I just pop in, it get you virals and it get you some appearances on podcasts, and you get to sit next to Tony Wrestler, but that's it.
Yeah, the Tony.
Somebody saw someone in the chat say that the CBC, which is like the black folks in Congress, haven't said anything. They only talk about people who are elected. So if you're running for something, that's the PAC side, which is separate. And I did see them saying some things. But the CBC is folks who are already in office. So they're not like writing critiques about, I don't think that I'm not saying they shouldn't, but they're not writing critiques about folks who are in Congress. It will be the election side, because they're separated. And I know some people don't know that. That's why I brought it up. Just like the CBC elected side versus the Rolling C Fund, Super PAC side are two separate orgs.
We're gonna get an Amber's approach one day with like a flow chart, a org chart of all this stuff, because it'll be appreciated. I had 2 points. A smaller point to your point, Amber, about APAC and certain things being used as gotchas, because people know how the media works. People understand that folks have not been allowed to develop community institutions, democracies, ways they participate, unions, right? Ways to understand power and build it in their own communities. So headlines, gotchas, moral kind of litmus tests are used in that place. And then this becomes a celebrity thing. So I agree. I do think some people just throw out APAC as a gotcha. I also would point out, just like the Abandon Harris campaign, where some of them went to Trump, there are two reasons why people critique APAC. And some of them are for our radical left-wing reasons, and the other are from the right. So I hear a lot of people who haven't been thorough in their analysis, this idea that APAC is the Jews and the Jews control everything. So they're actually on the right-wing anti-Semitic stream of thought. And so that's the way they see APAC. So it's like, oh, she's Jewish money. She's taking that Jewish money. I've seen that a lot. I even see in some quote unquote leftist spaces this constant mistake of confusion about cause and effect, saying Israel is controlling America. I have seen that so many times. How are we missing that power analysis, except for trying to exceptionalize Israel, which then comes back to that anti-Semitism? Because we know the U.S. uses Israel as a military outpost. So that was my point. The larger point, and I think we talked about this last time, Amber, as well, is Black people, we're all trying to survive. We're all trying to understand this world and our place in it. And we fall into different ideologies as we do that throughout our lives. Jasmine Crockett could legitimately care about Black people. I think a lot of people do. But that's what we've said. That's why we critique a Booker T or a Garvey, because their ideologies had limitations. And so it affected how they showed up in the world. So Jasmine Crockett, again, my whole point, that's the Democrat. The Democrat's a Zionist party. The Democrat is a dead end for Black people. What political pathway, though, does she have, and this is why I come back to identity politics, where she can study someone from her structural location, someone who is in a similar position, and then their challenges, their experience? How can we connect those people? So what I mentioned was someone like Cynthia McKinney, someone Glenn Ford worked with, right? And what was her path? What was the repression she dealt with? Why was she pushed out? How did she serve her community? Because she was able to do the things that we are crediting Jasmine for, while also having some better things on her weaknesses, which would be like connecting the domestic to the international, talking about the weakness of the CBC leadership, that kind of thing. So I would be like, how does Jasmine Crockett get on the trajectory of a Cynthia McKinney or better? Because we know she made those mistakes. Or how does she even get aware that that is out there, to your point? Because I do encounter a lot of these people. They have not been taught their legacy. They've been groomed, fed lies by all these institutions, the D9, these lawyer societies, everything. So that's my whole point. I'm not saying it will happen every time, but I do think a Glenn Ford existing, or Amber, you existing and having that legacy and being able to encounter these people makes that a possibility. Whereas now, no, the people in power will just make another Jasmine Crockett or whatever. Or in this case, now they're being like, all right, cool, we can switch out of that stock, Tallarico stock. We back on white boy stock. What's his name? Gavin Newsom for president. We not doing
I think that's the way that we get the country back. We got to switch back to the white men being in charge.
Of course. Right, which is why we come back to the main contradiction is this is the Democratic Party.
We got to listen to Trump on that
exactly.
one.
Exactly. And the Dems will like that too. Yep, the Dems like that too. They won't say it, but they like it too. They love rolling back the DEI. They love, look, this underqualified white man is better for them. They don't care. That's always been their thing. And that's, I think, why Kamala Harris, in some ways, was trying to build power and revealed that it's just not going to happen. There were a lot of Black bougie institutions in the community that tried to back Kamala Harris, particularly Black women bougie institutions. And they do not have enough power in the Democratic Party to do that. Now, it's not the same as the Republican Party, where you're Candace Owens and you're just literally a puppet and a clown in that sense, but they are still puppets. It's just different. But... right. But Candace Owens, I mean, now I'm forgetting her name. That's her name? Candace Owens. Candace Owens has very, very limited, they wouldn't even let her speak to head the RNC, right? So she has very, very limited leeway in the Republican Party. Black women are not, they recognize, Black bougie women, if they have a decent enough understanding, will be like, this is not the pathway to power. At least I'm going to have to try and get my bag with the Democrats. But then we already know, for all the reasons we've outlined, you ain't getting your bag with the Democrats. They will pick a white boy over you as soon as they can. As soon as any mediocre white man pops up, they can be like, see, this is why this doesn't work. So
and I agree with in real time, baby. Them the white content creators, baby, they was coming out hard for Tallarico, and then kind of like use these like, what's the word? Trying to use these what's that thing called when dog whistles? Trying to use these dog whistle terms, talking about Jasmine Crockett instead of just saying I don't want to support her. Like they're trying to use these dog whistle racist terms. Like we're not gonna catch it. I said you will better just shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just don't say nothing. You don't even have to defend it. Just don't say nothing. They was making it worse. I said, and then the black content creators and the white ones, and then the other the Hispanic folks, they was going back and forth on this shit. I said, oh, this is getting good. The drama was insane. Then we ended up, I don't know if y'all seen that Rogue DNC dude got blasted on the internet.
Oh no, I did not see that.
Whoever runs the Rogue DNC page is a racist piece of shit. And he posted some video of Lene when she was interviewing Crockett, and Lene was like, hey, don't post me on your page. Like, take that shit down. And he messaged Elizabeth asking her, like, what did I do to her? And Elizabeth responded, and he sent a caricature of her face, like from like as if she was a minstrel show. And so then me and other creators posted about it. It was like, this nigga posting this shit about this girl in her DMs, won't post it publicly, and then was on Threads and Twitter saying, hey bestie, I'm not racist. If I was so racist, why did I get an award from the NAACP chapter in Bridgeport, Connecticut? And the shit got so bad that the NAACP National had to put out a statement against this nigga. It was getting worse and worse. And that's how I found out who the Rogue DNC dude was. I didn't even know who it was. He outed himself, so he posted the pictures, not us. And
I think this is I think we've just encountered the problems of the white left as well, quote unquote left. And that's always my confusion when Gerald Horne says our friends on the left, when I hear Davon and Lawrence talk about the left, and I'm always like, what are y'all talking about? And I realize they're talking about the Ryan Grimms and the Halpers and all of those folks that I get my fix of analysis on from deculturation. And so I think there is going to be some racism there. I think they do a useful function, one that the Black agenda reports of the world should do better and have historically done better, which would be to critique the DNC and to point these things out, to point out that Revolt TV interview that Jasmine Crockett did, where I do not think she had a good answer on the Israel question. She stumbled and then kind of ran away, and then access journalism kind of showed itself because the reporter didn't really, she was like, all right, I guess that's all I'm going to get. That being said, you know, the Black left should have an analysis of Revolt TV. We do, and Diddy, and all the people who have been wrapped up in that network. And so I think white people, when they do it, are going to maybe get the anti-imperialism, the general critique. They don't get that right even, but the general critique of what this party is doing, how they're using tokens, that kind of thing. That's true. But those deeper points of analysis that we're talking about, nah, they're not going to get that. And then in their personal lives, they're white people. So yes, I'm not surprised that in their personal lives, they also have not become conscious of how they're racist. And that you would send a Black woman something back that says, I got something from the NAACP. Why I think that is the hilarious, most white person thing to say. And I always bring this up. I love it for my Black bougie people. Someone asked what's wrong. E. Franklin Frazier said they live in a world of make-believe. This is a perfect example. Wanted to demonstrate real quick. Why the fuck a white person saying they got an NAACP board is hilarious to me. This is Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, winning the 53rd NAACP President's Award. Just wanted to point that out when people talk about the NAACP and a white person, a fucking colonizer, a royal blue colonizer won an NAACP award. So good job, man. Thanks for telling a Black person that that's why you're not racist.
Oh yeah, his name is Luis Mangana. He's a Hispanic guy, gay Hispanic guy. He also wanted us to know that he was gay. And I said, they don't change you being racist. Friend.
I don't know. That might be our last. I could get into that last story if y'all are interested.
Also, I do want to just bring up
identity reductionism.
Oh yeah, it is the identity reduction.
You know what, Jasmine is getting the identity reduction.
Yep.
I'm glad that Dr. CBS broke that down because I said, this actually makes sense. I do want to bring up Ashton's comment because he said, Amber, how are you not a senator already? I hate the government. Next question.
They don't want Amber as a senator. Senate races, we had talked about that. Those are even higher bars to clear than House races. Like that's where there's fewer seats, and so there's more power concentrated there, which means they want fewer Black people there. That's why Obama being one was such a big deal. I'm not wrong, right? Obama was a senator, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, exactly. My brain at this point.
He doesn't have diabetes. I've never talked about diabetes.
They killing you. They roasting you because they were like, "What? What was that?"
Y'all, I just
was
feel
even
like
like,
he know what he doing. That nigga know what he
no,
doing.
I knew what you meant. They all say that's what I'm saying.
Somebody
They
in the
play on
chat
every.
said, "Yeah, I got diabetes too. It never stopped me from answering questions." I said, "Exactly."
Yes. My partner has diabetes. I knew what you meant, Everest. Okay.
He was full of shit.
Now we can maybe get into this last story. Speaking about our confusion in the Latino community, Latino compradors or Klansmen, Nazis. I had a
They
local
said Amber for
story.
president. No.
They're not getting you out the first round. You're not getting cleared in the first. They go pull up one meeting, one of these videos, and Amber is completely out of that.
This is true. Amber does just know things. And I know these things because I think everyone should know these things. So I just learn random things so I can tell other people these things.
You sound like me. That's why we get along.
It
So
is.
check this out. Nazi. This was a story. I could show it an Instagram video, but I like the article. We should switch it up every now and then. So Miami Herald, top newspaper in Miami, Nazi heaven inside Miami campus Republicans racist group chat. So I'm not sure if y'all saw this story. This is at FIU, a campus where the presidents are currently investigated in Alligator Alcatraz, the president and their spouse, and all sorts of private prison contracting work there. Zionists have free reign on the campus, all sorts of things. So Nazi heaven inside Miami campus Republicans racist group chat. I should share some context before this. Florida International University's campus recently passed a bill, and this came from the state level, to rename Miami-Dade Road Charlie Kirk Avenue. So on September 23rd, State Rep. Juan Carlos Porras, Republican from Miami, of course, filed HB 33, which seeks to designate part of State Road 984 Southwest 107th Ave, the stretch between these two things at FIU, as Charlie Kirk Memorial Avenue. And so this is the context that I wanted to lay before getting into this story. So now there's a campus Republicans group chat. It's been uncovered. This happened already in 2018. I want to point it out. They have already, in 2018, been caught for a racist group chat. The secretary of Miami-Dade County's Republican Party started a group chat primarily for conservative students last fall. And within 3 weeks, it was filled with racist slurs, someone who wrote dozens of ways of violently killing Black people. And the chat was renamed after what one member described as Nazi heaven. In WhatsApp conversations leaked to the Miami Herald, participants used variations of the N-word more than 400 times, regularly described women as whores, used slurs to talk about Jewish and gay people, and mused about Hitler's politics. And so to scroll through the story, the group chat verified by 2 people in the group reveals the extent of racism and extremism within the highest ranks of campus Republican Party leadership in Miami at a time Florida Republicans are reckoning with an increasingly emboldened far right that they are emboldening. Another member of the chat, William Bejarano, who tried to start a pro-life group at Miami-Dade College, was the primary user of the N-word in the group. Very pro-life, as you're saying, Amber, about the Catholicism earlier. At one point, he posted a block of text calling for dozens of acts of extreme violence against Black people who he referred to using the N-word, including crucifying, beheading, and dissecting people. All of these screenshots are available. I will not show them here. But it goes on. And so it's important to point out that these are members of the Florida Republican Party, campus Republicans, and also law students. So one of the people who's been identified is a law student, and he is brown-skinned. I believe he is Cuban, but he is, again, a white-hearted man, as Rodney and the Rostas would say. So it's just important to note that. Of course, that kind of thing is then used to divide Black and brown people, right? I'm not saying that this racist right-wing brown man is representative, but it is important to know that they are building power this way, that there are a bunch of people who have these white supremacist views in power. And again, they are also trying to field a Black man in the Republican Party right now. So this is also just very interesting times. So this is a Nazi group, as we're saying. Obviously, someone like Jasmine Crockett is not going to a campaign strategy meeting, seeing this shit and being like, you know what? I think I can build power here. The Democrats at least are more Fox-like. They smile. But this brother is here. U.S. Congressman Byron Donalds speaking at Ask Byron Anything meet and greet at Versailles Cuban Cuisine Restaurant in Louis Havana. If anyone knows about this place, I wouldn't be surprised if the dudes who just tried to invade and terrorize Cuba from a speedboat were having lunch here a few weeks ago. So this is a very common power center in Miami for these white Cuban folks, and it's just been revealed that they have a Nazi group chat, to no one's surprise. So Miami,
It's not a
the
shocker.
South and the Caribbean.
Also, Dre did make a good point about the voter suppression, because I was actually working on election day on this exact thing. So I did think it was important to mention that what happened in Dallas County and in Williamson County, which were huge Crockett districts, was definitely blatant voter suppression. And I think it was definitely a test of how they can use it in other places. For folks who don't know, there was an issue with voting, because folks in Texas normally can go to any election poll in their precinct area to vote, but because the Republicans would not agree to a joint election with the Democrats, you had to go to your assigned polling place, but they did not let people know that. So then people were going to the wrong place, and they had to go back to a different poll, and it created very, very long lines. We had folks who had been standing in line for 5 hours in Dallas County. There were folks still in line at like 11, 12 at night that we have been like reaching out to. So I do think it's important to mention that, because that is a way to suppress votes, because a lot of states actually use this model, which I did not know, because I'm used to living here and we don't have that as an option. But if you don't agree to joint election, they change the way that you can, like what poll you can go to vote. And if the election commission doesn't notify you and you find out on election day, that can be a huge issue. And then at one point they did get the polls extended, but then Ken Paxton, who's the Secretary of State, who was in charge of elections, appealed it to the Supreme Court of Texas, which then ended it and said that anyone who was in line after 7, their ballots had to be thrown away. I don't know how you would be able to tell that, but okay. So that also results in a lot of folks' votes not being counted, which I think is important, because we already have folks who believe that their votes don't matter, right? Even though there's active suppression happening, so obviously it does matter. But this also made it even harder for folks that we were talking to, like in my job, who were like, yeah, I'm not interested in voting. Like they don't see a value in it, because they feel like it's constantly suppressed, or they're going to find a way to not count their votes. And the amount of Texas voters I was having to talk to on election day, like we were literally texting people in real time to get them to their right polling place. It discourages folks more than people think it does, and it's a huge voter suppression tactic. And a lot of people in Texas were saying they felt that they were just testing something out to use it in other states, and I definitely think that's true, because they've been testing out things here in Tennessee. And that same exact bill you mentioned, by the way, Lorick, is also being is going through our state house right now, and at least 3 or 4 other state houses at the same time. Like multiple state legislatures have that bill about the road parkway
Charlie
thing.
Kirk, yeah, we're gonna
There's
have
a lot of like sample legislation tried in multiple states right now. And so I do think that's something we should pay attention to, because there is a lot of active voter suppression. We had an issue in Tennessee where our election registration system glitched, and it was showing that people weren't registered, even though they were. And they fixed it like within a few hours, but they were like, this is a test. Like they tested some shit out. So that's a huge issue too, is that people just think that no matter what we do, they're going to try to, stop us from having our votes counted, or they'll try to get us removed from the system, which are all voter suppression tactics that we should talk about more.
Yes. And first thing, I just want Pancho's point here. We're getting at identity politics, the revolutionary application right now, which I appreciate. This is why pan-ethnic terms like Latino can be a problem. Cubans aren't Mexicans, aren't Puerto Ricans, aren't Venezolanos. Politics are not the same. Absolutely. Nationality, nationhood, your relationship to imperialism is what creates that structural rotation. That's how I've always understood identity politics. It's saying we have a lot of identities. How do we understand them and their relationship to imperialism, the rest of the world, things like that. Amber, to your point, this is extremely important. And that's why I come back to Chidi Mata's thing and what we talked about, which is like, we need somebody who actually knows foreign policies and naive about these things, understands what we're up against, because that's what's going to keep happening. We are going to keep losing. And in the process, they are building power. So what you said about voter suppression is 100% happening in Florida. It's happening all over the place. This is what Republicans do. So the fact that there was voter suppression, one, is why I get annoyed by this talking point sometimes from older folks. Vote, it only takes 5 minutes. I've worked with polling locations before. No, that is not the case, depending on where you are located. So that's fucking annoying to say. Maybe in your senior center, in your suburban neighborhood, it takes 5 minutes, not everywhere else. So this kind of thing is just really important to me. And that's why, again, if this person is not aware, yes, you can know locally there's voter suppression, but why? Why is that related on a larger scale? Who are the people who are going to be doing this kind of thing? That's where I think we get into trouble. So I've seen a lot of community level civic groups who do understand voter suppression. That almost is like a focus you'll immediately encounter when you run into these spaces. But then you ask them about imperialism, all these other, larger issues, and there's not as much analysis. So yeah, just thank you for highlighting that.
Yeah, I feel like I Play for Keeps had a good comment too. They've done that across the state since 2022 or 23, especially since the COVID pandemic. All started with Paxton, who's running for Senate this election cycle. Yes, and also want to add in this comment, it's candidates' jobs basically to harass voters during the election period and supply them with real-time info. So yes, they have done that since 2022 or 2023, but the election commission they're not educating folks. They're not telling them. And it is on candidates to have to educate folks in real time or voter engagement org to have to educate them in real time, because those election commissions are not doing the job they're supposed to do, which is sending people information about their poll location or precinct changing, and they didn't do any of that, and they have continued to do that year after year. And I don't think that it should be on candidates. The reason why we have election commissions is because they are running the elections. They are helping to select the dates, they have the machines, they set up the polling places, so they should be sending you basic information. And I do think that's putting a lot of onus on candidates, because candidates are not reaching out to everyone. Candidates are reaching out to people who are voting the most. We've only seen a shift in like the last 10 years or so of people being reached out to who are infrequent voters or low propensity voters, as they're often called, people who don't vote often, or they have never voted. You're registered, but you never voted in an election. There are a lot of orgs who are now reaching out to those people, but candidates are using win numbers, meaning a calculation they have created that tells them who they need to reach out to win, and they are contacting those people, and those are frequent voters. So if you're an infrequent voter, you never voted, and you don't get any information, you never know the basic stuff you need to know unless you look it up yourself. And most people don't have the time to do that. So I think that that's also an issue, which I don't agree with. And I tell candidates all the time, there's no reason why you should only be reaching out to these people, because youth voters are interested in the election, but they
Right.
don't understand what's
Yep.
happening. And
Yep.
because they don't understand what's happening and no one is getting them any information, then they never do it.
And then all these nonprofits say, how do we engage the youth? And I'm like, you have to talk about the fact that the Miami mayor stole $170,000 or was paid or bribed, whatever you want to call it. And that's not happening in these sessions. So we just run in circles. Yo,
You got
killed the diabetes thing today. I agree. I think this is a good place to close it, because I just realized we are a little over time. Yeah, we have the most restricted electoral system in the Americas, other than the dictatorships that America puts up. Absolutely. And even among those. All right. That was great. Takeaways.
This is exactly what Geechee said, A-Rob. A-Rob said that Geechee said he's just here so he don't get fired.
Geechee here because he loves us. And he showed up this morning, which we appreciate.
We do appreciate it. You know, you was late, but I'll let you slide.
Yeah, we both were. Amber held it down.
Geechee, you getting your sides cut this weekend? You gonna grow your hair out? You gonna grow locks all around?
I don't know.
I feel like that's such a frustrating process. I saw somebody posting about how they did it, where like they cut their regular locks in half, and then like had them like they grew out the sides and they had them like stitched in there. I said, it's too much.
I think the lock journey is always a lot for different people. What you got going on this weekend, Amber, for the people? What you doing in the community?
I ain't doing shit. I'm moving.
Sheesh! Oh my gosh, that was supposed to be our check-in. Congratulations, Amber. No, you keep it private. Your location, Amber's at an undisclosed location, but is a new homeowner. We are very happy for that. Eventually, you will get your gifts, your housewarming gifts.
You know,
send a list.
The least I could get is a book.
I knew that was coming. Send a list. Send a housewarming list. Send the Amazon list. Congratulations, Amber.
We would love to read the book, Geechee.
I know. We go.
Thanks, Lord. I appreciate it. It was a very stressful process, but yeah.
Yeah. Geechee, how about you?
I don't know. I mean, I got a tenants meeting that's probably gonna be contentious in a second. There's a couple things happening in there. I think the neighborhood meeting is this week. After one of the community leaders threatened, he been threatening people on the board. He trying to muscle.
He been threatening the people. The board you own, right?
Yeah. And so,
Ooh, this
and then on top of that, I think I told you my homeboy up the block who got the store. His and he said, and I'm using this phrase, so I'm not trying to condescend. He's like, man, the Arab coming to take the store back from me. I said, what are you talking about? He's like, I said, don't you own the store? He said, no, I've been renting it for the last 4 years. I remodeled and everything, and they come in and said you got to go. And so, and then obviously, like I said, somebody got hit the other day. So like,
it's a lot.
About to be walking into all that for this meeting.
Do y'all hear how stressed Geechee sounds? We should start sending super chats in now so that he can help manage this. I do need housewarming.
Please do not monetize my real.
Sorry,
I think it's important. Go ahead and send those super chats in. I did buy a house, yes, and would love some housewarming gifts. So y'all want to send some money for that? That'd be great. Some money for some food because I ain't got no microwave and I got a stove, and I was like, oh, I could cook something, and I don't have any cookware.
Yes.
What'd you say?
I want to.
It be your own people.
Yeah, you got a nice kitchen looking nice. I want to address the thumbnail because we get this. There's gonna be a comment, so I'm avoiding the comment. The thumbnail, Warzone. So check out what Renee and Jared did yesterday. They did a surprise broadcast on Iran with 2 experts. So folks who are really tapped in and could give a solid analysis. So please check that out. Check out Saturdays with Renee, all the great content there. Check out Darker Than Blue, Jackie Lukman. Check out the episode Geechee, Cherie, and Youssef did this week. It was excellent. I very much enjoyed it. As for me, this weekend, I'm doing something. I'm just trying to get my life together. So probably have a little bit of a break. I do want to, of course, promote some of the work that we did last week. Which, wait, do I have an event? I do not have an event. Oh man, going through my life calendar. So check out, as always, I post Black Men Build's YouTube channel. Highly recommend it. Theory Thursday on Pan-Africanism and Socialism featuring Eugene Puryear was excellent. But then I also enjoyed our mass call with 2 BLM cooperative members and hosts, Dr. Sundiata Chajo and Dr. Layla Brown, on Pan-Africanism and how it connects to socialism. So excellent conversation. I saw some things in the chat that might be addressed by that. And if you haven't, check out our Wartime magazine. We've been posting videos of each of the articles. What Would Malcolm X Do Today is one I was able to help contribute to. Really enjoyed the brothers who voice acted and brought it to life.
Come on, contribute to. Yeah, contribution.
Yeah.
We had some super chats because we didn't went over on time, and I feel like that deserves $5.
Overtime. There was also
a comment that A-Rob said, oh, here you go, I found it. A-Rob said, we dispatch an Amber for all filibuster requests. That is so funny because, like Lawrence, I also, too, get in my bag and just be going. And then I realize I've been talking for 8 minutes, and I'd be like, oh, shit.
We need that Lawrence. We need the LBS Amber crossover on there. A lot of crossovers we gotta have.
We mentioned doing that, so we might do a show like that, y'all. We haven't talked about how do we do that.
The guest name's Issam and Naveed. Absolutely, Issam helped contribute to the Malcolm study guide, by the way. Just shouting out that Pan-Africanism in action. So brilliant analysis, and was mentored by Dr. Sundiata. So just again, the Pan-Africanism. We know how this works. Appreciate y'all. Thanks. Peace to the infamous chat. Y'all were on fire today.
Happy birthday, A-Rob. Early birthday.
Happy early birthday, A-Rob.
I saw A-Rob also asked if there's a guest room for my harem. I'm not giving none of them niggas my new address. I actually am starting fresh. I feel like I'm a new person now. You ain't fucked me. You fucked the old body. They didn't fuck me. You fucking the cold body. Ain't no miles on this who new body. Whatever she said in that verse.
She had the best verse on a leaked Ye album. Oh my goodness.
That shit was so fucking good for a psychopath. I said, damn, this is good.
Oh man, I saw our problematic phase in the Miss Leadership class. We like to keep our lines clear, our minds clear. So as Fred Hampton used to say, as Jared says, peace if you're willing to fight for it. And we'll catch you next time on Remix Morning Show.
Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.